Employees Retirement System and Healthcare Trust Board meeting of April 20th, 2023. I'm calling the meeting to order, and we will have a roll call vote. Roll call itself. Vice Chair Jennings, are you present?
Present.
Okay. Trustee Chandra is not here. Trustee Kelleher?
Here.
Trustee Linder?
Yes, present.
Okay, and Trustee Avasti?
Here.
And the chair is here. Go to the, oh, rusty on this. Item 1A, Just Cause. Is there anyone here, any trustees utilizing AB 2449, Just Cause, for this meeting? Anyone using emergency circumstances under AB 2449, please confirm if you are a trustee. Okay. I understand Trustee Linder is appearing remotely according to the rules of the Brown Act, so I need to make certain inquiries. Number one, Trustee Linder, what is the location from which you are teleconferencing?
The Sonoma City Hall at number 1, The Plaza, Sonoma, California.
Thank you. And did you post an agenda at that location that could be seen by the public?
Yes.
And 3, is that location open to the public and accessible to those with disabilities?
Yes.
And 4, if any member of the public wishes to comment during the meeting, will they be able to be heard by us from that location?
Yes.
Very good. Thank you.
Yes. Thanks for working with me.
Absolutely. So we are, want to remind all trustees that the mics are all live, and to mute them, you can hold the button, but it will only be muted so long as you hold the button. So next we will have orders of the day. We are holding this meeting as a hybrid meeting, so those who are attending virtually, please mute yourself unless you are speaking, and if you wish to speak, please raise your hand in the app and staff will alert the chair. We have no orders of the day. We have no need to waive sunshine. I believe we are changing a few items. I guess that is orders of the day. Consent item 2.8 actually will be moved up to under item number what? Will be heard under new business, item number 6. And with that modification, do we have a motion to accept the modified orders of the day? We have a motion from Trustee Kelleher. Do we have a second?
I second.
We have a second from Trustee Avasti. Any discussion? We'll have a roll call vote. As this is a hybrid meeting, all votes will continue to be roll call. Vice Chair Jennings?
Aye.
Trustee Kelleher?
Aye.
Trustee Linder?
Aye.
Trustee Avasti?
Aye.
I vote aye. So that's the new orders of the day. New consent calendar. Okay, I believe we are on to the first agenda item.
Mr. Chairman, we need a motion to adopt consent calendar.
Oh, okay. Thought I was.
So motion by Trustee Kelleher.
Thank you.
second.
We have a second from Vice Chair Jennings. Any discussion? Roll call vote. Vice Chair Jennings?
Aye.
Trustee Kelleher?
Aye.
Trustee Linder?
Aye.
Trustee Avasti?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. And I think at this point, we will have public and general comments, not related to any specific item on the agenda. Is there anybody here in person or online who would like to address the pension board on matters that are under the jurisdiction of this board, you will have 3 minutes to speak. Is there anybody here who would like to speak? Is there anybody online who has raised their hands to speak? All right, I'm hearing no, so we will move to the next item, which is the application for a service-connected disability. This is a service-requested disability hearing for Gina Oliva. She appeared before the Staff Disability Committee, who has recommended denial of the application. Is Ms. Oliva present? Is she present online? No? Okay. We will hear from our ORS staff then on the application. I'd like to introduce Stacy Fisher, who will present the summary of the application. And Ms. Fisher, are you here?
Yes.
Okay. And Dr. Das, who will present the results of his review of the medical records and the medical examination of the applicant. Can staff confirm that a written communication was sent to Mrs. Oliva notifying her of the board meeting?
Yes.
Okay, that is a yes. And we also need to introduce Russ Ricada, Disability Counsel, to summarize the committee's position, the basis for the position, and evidence and records supporting the position. His memo is included in the disability packet all trustees have received. So will, Ms. Fisher, will you present then the summary of the application?
Yes.
Thank you.
The applicant's name is Gina Oliva. She does not have an attorney. Her application is for a service-connected disability retirement. The body part listed on her application is her lower back. The date the disability retirement application was received was January 4th, 2013. Her current work status is separated and deferred vested. Her status at the time of separation was disability leave. Her status at the time of application was separated and deferred vested. The permanent work restrictions are maximum lift or carry of 50 pounds, frequent lift or carry of 50 pounds, stand or walk continuously less than 2 hours per 8-hour shift, sit less than 2 hours continuously per 8-hour shift, occasional climbing, crouching, crawling, and twisting. Regarding accommodation of the restrictions, the applicant's department could have accommodated the work restrictions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And is Dr. Das present or available online to present the results of his review? Okay.
He was asking for the link a short time ago. So
Okay, can someone assist him?
I did provide him with it.
Okay. Would Mr. Ricada like to summarize the committee's position and the basis for the disability rejection?
Yes, I'd be pleased to.
Okay.
The committee noted the relevant background facts that Ms. Oliva was hired in 2002 and actively worked until the incident on December 10th, 2008, and then and did not work thereafter, and was formally terminated in 2010. Her position with the city was maintenance assistant with the park department. And the body part at issue is her lumbar spine, and that eventually resulted in a diagnosis of degenerative disc disease. What is unusual about this application is that, notwithstanding the existence of a serious lower back condition, the degenerative disc disease, Ms. Oliva did not have any symptoms until the December 10th, 2008 incident. And that incident was characterized by the various physicians as minor. Ms. Oliva had been weeding for 10 minutes and then experienced the onset of significant pain. So that's sort of the background facts, and things did not get better for Miss Oliva. She had to have an initial back surgery, so it went all the way to surgery in 2010, so about a year and a half later. And then even after that, in March 2012, she had to have lumbar fusion surgery. So things are serious for her back in that sense. But what about work restrictions, our concern? There was a dispute in the from your medical advisors between the more significant work restrictions advanced by Kenneth Ishizui, the board's independent medical examiner, and the less restrictive work restrictions that Ms. Fisher has just read to you that were provided by your medical advisor, Raj Das, or your then medical advisor. And the committee noted that Dr. Das, in his report, analyzed each of the greater job restrictions provided by Dr. Ishizui and noted why those were not appropriate given Ms. Oliva's clinical condition. And so, and the Disability Committee was persuaded by Dr. Das's comments, and the Disability Committee also noted that with respect to Dr. Das's permanent work restrictions, the department was able to accommodate those work restrictions, and therefore the committee concluded that it was not appropriate to find her incapacitated. But even assuming that a conclusion of incapacity was decided upon, and the next issue being service connection, we again have Dr. Das as opposed to Dr. Ishizui and a workers' comp evaluator, Dr. Warbritton. But in the case of Dr. Ishizui and Dr. Warbritton, though they concluded that there was service connection here, neither of them provided anything that could be considered analysis or reasoning or explanation, particularly in the context of quite a minor work event, the weeding for 10 minutes, characterized as minor even by Dr. Ishizui. And Dr. Das pointed out that weeding really doesn't have involve the kind of force or torquing or twisting that might otherwise allow us to conclude that that event contributed in a real and measurable way to her incapacity. Instead, it was a minor event that could not reasonably be seen, in the committee's view, to either contribute to or aggravate her condition. You might wonder, and by the way, I think it's important to note that Dr. Das also helpfully noted the, I think the sort of state of the art on this issue, the Karaji study that was cited in his report that again concluded that minor trauma, such as is the case here, does not contribute to significant lumbar symptoms. Instead, unfortunately, Ms. Oliva had a condition that was progressing the way many of us do, and it's not uncommon for individuals, notwithstanding as they age, the progression of, for example, lumbar degenerative disc disease, to be asymptomatic to a certain point, and then a very minor event sort of reveals that the condition had gotten to such a stage that now it's going to be symptomatic. So the committee came to the recommendation to you that this application be denied.
Thank you for that summary. Is there a representative from the Parks and Rec Department who wishes to add anything to the proceedings? No?
There should be.
Yep.
They're in Zoom, I mean.
It might be on Zoom. I've sent the link to them.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Dave.
I'm sorry, who has joined? Or Dr. Das?
That's a journey.
Okay.
You see that Dave DeLong or Sarah Steele?
I'm sorry, I can't quite hear that.
OER is here, but we do not see the PRNS representative.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll hear next from Dr. Das. We did have a summary from Mr. Ricada, but if you have anything to add at this point?
Yes, I think Mr. Ricada did a fine job of summary. I just wanted to add, though, in terms of that there's a difference between pathology and symptoms, and with the type of mechanism of injury described, there would be no change in pathology. That would be that would be responsible for the symptoms, so that's why I did not feel that there was a meaningful injury that would make it service connected. And if you look at the remainder of my report, there's also an issue in terms of tolerance versus pathology, and I believe that this was a disability primarily based on tolerance rather than a specific change in the anatomy or structures.
Okay, thank you. And is Ms. Oliva now present online?
No, she's not able to attend
Oh,
today.
we know for a fact she will not attend. I see. Okay. Is the return to work coordinator present, and would they like to add anything?
This is, excuse me, this is Sarah Steele, I'm the Region City's Return to Work Coordinator. I have nothing else to add.
Okay.
Brenda, why are we not seeing the people speaking? Shouldn't we be seeing that
It-
on the screen?
I think we can, if they're gonna be speaking for a long time, but if it's just a quick question, I mean, we can have them,
I
show
think
up.
that's appropriate,
Okay,
okay? If they're speaking,
Okay.
we should see them.
can staff do that?
Yeah.
Great, thank
Okay,
you.
we're getting a
Thank
thumbs
you.
up. Thank
All
you.
right.
Okay. Can staff confirm whether Ms. Oliva provided a written statement that she requested be read in lieu of her attendance at the meeting?
Yes,
Okay, and can we please read that statement into the record?
yes.
Thank you.
Okay. To whom this may concern.
Bring the mic just a little bit closer, thank you.
Okay. To whom this may concern, my name is Gina Oliva. I am a former employee of the City of San Jose. I was originally hired in March 2001 as a Parks Landscape Maintenance Assistant with General Services, Parks Recreation, and Neighborhood Services. I did my job faithfully, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, from the time I was hired till I sustained my work injury on December 10th, 2008. I filed the necessary paperwork to start a workers' compensation claim, at which time I was placed on modified work duty. I provided Ken Wright and my supervisor at the time, Richard, with the progress reports containing the work restrictions that were being required by my treating physician at the time. At no point in time from my day of injury till I started seeing my current physician, Dr. Ted Robinson, in I believe it was September 2009, was I ever offered any type of modified duty. It was when I started seeing Dr. Robinson that I was placed completely off work. With the ongoing fight back and forth with workers' compensation, constantly denying treatment concerning my back injury after my first back surgery in March of 2010, I received a letter from the City of San Jose in approximately August 2010 stating that I needed to provide a progress report that had modified work on it. I tried to speak with someone and explain I was recovering from an extensive back surgery and was not able to return to work at that time. Then I provided them with modified duty restrictions for the first almost 9 months after I got hurt and was never offered any type of work within my restrictions. I was basically told that because I couldn't provide options for modified work, that I was deemed to voluntarily quit and vacate my position as a maintenance assistant with the City of San Jose. There was nothing voluntary about that. I was off work due to a work injury, not an injury sustained outside of my employment. At my last hearing, I was told that the severity of my injury could not have happened on the job. Have any of you worked parks landscape maintenance 40 hours a week for over 7 years? Do you truly understand the physicality of this line of work? The constant twisting and turning, bending, reaching, stooping, emptying 55-gallon trash cans that are full or overflowing after a busy weekend in the parks, covering multiple parks on a route and having to empty every trash can minimum 3 days a week, and when working the weekend route, it was at least 4 days. Not only do you have to remove those bags from the cans, you're also loading them into your assigned work truck, only to then again have to lift those same bags to dispose of them into the dumpsters. Those bags, some days, could easily weigh 40 pounds on the lighter side. Let's not forget to mention the landscaping portion of my job duties. Using power equipment, loading that equipment into my assigned truck, wearing a backpack blower for hours at a time, and having to rake up leaves and shovel those said leaves into my assigned truck. Then there is also having to shovel sand into a wheelbarrow from the back of my work truck, then rolling it, and also having to shovel sand, and dumping it into the sand pit so it was at a safe level for the neighborhood kids to use. I was told at that hearing that the mechanism and how I hurt my back could have been done carrying groceries. I beg to differ with that opinion. My workers' comp report stated that what I was doing right before my injury occurred. So you got about 5 minutes of my activities before my injury. I had been doing major landscaping from 6 a.m. till the time of my injury at approximately 12 p.m. That landscaping included prepping all my trash cans on my route for the weekend, which included changing all trash liners and throwing garbage into the dumpsters of all my assigned parks. Then when that was done, my day also included pruning trees and taking down unneeded tree stakes. I didn't appreciate you guys sitting there and telling me there was no way possible what I was doing could have caused as severe of an injury as it did. Between 7 years of intense physical labor and 2 years of poor care and treatment by the City of San Jose's workers' compensation insurance led to me not being able to return to my duties as a maintenance assistant. I was involuntarily terminated while recovering from a work-caused injury in 2010. In 2014, City of San Jose settled my claim. I was told in my last hearing that the city could accommodate my work restrictions, so I wasn't entitled to service-connected disability retirement. To base a decision on restrictions that were made after I was terminated and my case was settled, I believe was an incompetent and unfair decision. The City of San Jose made zero effort to accommodate my work restrictions when I was originally hurt. If this City of San Jose was truly able to accommodate my work restrictions, then why was I never offered my employment back as a parks maintenance assistant, with my pay reflecting any raises that would have occurred during my tenure had I never been forcefully terminated? Again, if you have never done parks landscape maintenance full-time, then I think you really have zero understanding on the job and how my injury and inability to return back to my position when I was forcefully terminated back in 2010 should in fact entitle me to service-connected disability retirement. Had the city done their due diligence to try to accommodate my work restrictions and not fire me less than 6 months after back surgery, I would now have over 20 years in as a city employee. Thank you.
Thank you. Is Dr. Das or any other witness here who would like to offer a rebuttal to the testimony we just heard from the applicant?
If it's okay, I can certainly provide some context
Okay,
for
please.
the work-relatedness aspect and
Please proceed.
possibly comment in terms of the process from a workers' compensation standpoint, unless there's someone from workers' comp available to do so.
No, there's no workers' comp, Dr. Das.
So, and I think here we have, there's a big issue in terms of a concept known as cumulative trauma for degenerative disc disease. And, when people, this has been actively studied quite a bit in terms of whether physically demanding work causes or significantly contributes to degenerative disc disease. Now, I want to distinguish between lower back pain and degenerative disc disease. So physically demanding work and activities and aging, et cetera, can certainly contribute to lower back pain. However, the studies have been quite definitive in showing that there is no association or significant contribution from physically demanding work to degenerative disc disease. And it's no longer controversial per se, that it's very much accepted. And so that is a confusing standpoint, confuses people when individuals feel, yes, I've done back-breaking work for a long period of time. Of course, my problem is related to the work that I've been doing. The issue is you have to look at the cause. So muscular pain or musculoligamentous pain can certainly be related to physically demanding work. However, the type of injury or the type of pathology that Ms. Oliva experienced was degenerative disc disease. And that's why she received surgery, was for that specific problem. And if you look at the mechanism of injury that immediately preceded her onset of symptoms, that was very trivial. And so certainly there was not really a relationship to the work. It was more of a timing. And so someone had made the comment during the initial meeting that it could have happened at any time. And yes, it could have. And it wouldn't necessarily be related to any type of lifting or physical activity. It could have just been precipitated by sitting. That is the conclusion for the work-relatedness component. With respect to the modified duty status, et cetera, looking at the reports, there is a significant level of fear avoidance, which means that in order to avoid experiencing even minimal pain, people don't want to do things. And this was a significant barrier to Ms. Oliva's progress. So it wasn't necessarily the physical or structural pathology, but it was more the anxiety or fear provoked by possibly experiencing pain. And that was one of the components that they actually treated in the functional restoration program that she completed. And so the work restrictions that were provided were based upon her treating physician's recommendations at the conclusion of the functional restoration program. With respect to the accommodation process during workers' compensation, I don't have the records in front of me, but I believe that that her condition was considered totally disabled, meaning she was not provided any work restrictions in a modified capacity for a long period of care, and therefore the city of San Jose had no work restrictions with which to work and provide accommodations. I'm someone who is more familiar with her work history would have a little bit more detail on that, but I believe from medical records she was on total disability for a long period of time, and the city would not be able to accommodate without restrictions. Are there any questions?
So if I'm following the timeline correctly, she was on total disability for a long time, but then at some point there was accommodations offered to her, and she did not take those up. Is that correct?
I will defer to someone from OER on.
I just wanted to let you know, Chair Horowitz, that the department rep is actually joined the Zoom meeting. So
Okay.
I don't know. You want to address that issue from OER standpoint, Stacy? I'm sorry, Sarah.
Okay. If Dave's here, he can talk to it, and then I can supplement if he needs anything. I think he's on now.
Yes, Dave, are you there?
I'm sorry, I could barely hear you. My apologies for being late. I don't mean to convey that I'm not taking this seriously. I just didn't know that we were on yet. Can you repeat the question? I'm having difficulty hearing.
So Dr. Das just told us that Mrs. Oliva was on complete disability during her recovery period immediately after her incident, but it appears from her statement that at some point she was offered accommodation. So I'm just trying to understand the timeline. She was on complete disability, and then at some point it was reckoned that she could perform some duties, and she was offered an accommodating position. Is that correct?
Yes, there were varying accommodation needs throughout the period that we're talking about. So depending on which frame of reference that we're looking at, it might result in a different answer, but we were not able to accommodate at some point, and then we're able to accommodate at another. So I think I'd have to take a look at the detail that we're looking at specifically here in terms of the question.
Okay, because it appears from her statement that part of her complaint is the fact that she was not aware or she was not offered accommodation at the earliest possible moment. And from what you're saying and from what Dr. Das appears to have said, that reason for that was she was on total disability initially.
Correct.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, if I may, and this
Please.
doesn't directly go to your question, which I know is interested in the factual chronology with respect to work restrictions and accommodation offers. But I just remind you that that the accommodation issue, if an applicant at the time, either before or after she was separated from service, was dissatisfied with what was going on, there were remedies then, perhaps under the labor contract, but other avenues for redress. And I think it's more helpful to see that chapter as closed. And right now, you have before you a different situation where you look to the medical evidence and look to the medical reports of the advisors you've retained to see what the situation was back then. And yes, we often see the work restrictions that your advisors provide now might have been different than the ones provided to the city by the applicant's treating physician way back when. But those work restrictions, though provided by the treating physician, may not in fact be medically appropriate and are not ones that the city can dispute at that time. So if the treating physician said, my patient just cannot work at all, which might be the case here, well, that sort of ends it back then. But we don't know what the treating physician reviewed. We don't know if that's really fact-based, those particular work restrictions, whereas the ones you have now, you've heard Dr. Das, the origin of his, namely the treating physician work restrictions provided after her completion of the functional restoration program. So they're now evidence-based and fact-based. And I understand the feelings of unfairness generated by an applicant having to deal with a process way back when that probably she wasn't clear about, wasn't made clear to her, and she thinks it wasn't fair. And I respect that. But unfortunately, that's not relevant to the decisions of the issues before you today.
Just to make sure, Council Ricardo, you making a distinction between the workers' comp process and the process for the retirement application and the review of the physicians and the decision that the board has to make?
Yes, though I
Okay.
perhaps didn't offer comments specifically on workers' comp, though workers' comp and the restrictions offered by workers' comp physicians are also part of the then accommodation process. But I'd also note that workers' compensation physicians, even qualified medical examiners, agreed medical examiners, if we compiled 100 reports, a random sample out of whatever database we had, and picked a statistically significant number of them, and then looked to see their analysis on service connection, I would be willing to bet my retirement assets on a conclusion that they never provide an analysis at all on service connection. Yes, they'll have a conclusion, usually one sentence, there's industrial connection or service connection, work relatedness. They'll have different formulations in that sentence, but they never, ever provide any reasoning or explanation. But you need, and so I think those can be discounted accordingly. Notice Dr. Ishizui, unfortunately, even though he was not in the workers' comp process, also did not provide an explanation for his conclusion. But then pointing to the workers' compensation report we have in this file from, I think it's James Warbriton, there again is the standard non-analysis on the issue that is somewhat not, and that's important to you, but you can see by the fact that there's no analysis that it's really never important in workers' compensation. It's just kind of assumed. And that's just the nature of that process, but that's not the nature of our process.
Okay. Are there any other witnesses who would like to offer a rebuttal to Ms. Oliver's statement?
Dr. Doss has his hand raised.
I just wanted to make one clarification about the difference between the systems and the labor code or the municipal code and the labor code for the state of California for work-relatedness. So for California workers' compensation, it's not unreasonable for her injury to be considered work-related and arising out of employment from the workers' compensation process because she reports experiencing her symptoms at work. The threshold, however, for work-relatedness in the retirement concept is much, much higher in terms of there needs to be a direct causal relationship and or a significant contribution. And in her pathology, there was no contribution, and that's what the literature shows. And just from a biomechanical standpoint, it also shows that you cannot cause this kind of disc damage that was responsible for her symptoms. So I just wanted to avoid confusion that because there are two different systems for determining work-relatedness, you can have two different answers that are both correct. So, and so it's not unreasonable for her symptoms to be accepted as work-related within the workers' compensation field, but it would not be reasonable for her symptoms to be considered work-related with respect to the municipal code.
Okay, all right, thank you. Trustees, do the trustees have any questions for any of the witnesses?
I'm going to state what I think I understand.
Okay.
We'll see how that goes. My understanding is that her case has been determined by the doctors to be degenerative disc disease. And if that is your diagnosis, if that's what you're dealing with what Dr. Doss has said as longstanding medical scientific conclusion, that something you do at work, or if you pulled out, whatever you did, if you lifted up high, it's not going to create the disc damage that she has. So it's not work-related. It's almost like hereditary or whatever, whatever her body is, and you're dealing with that. That's what I'm hearing. And based on that, that is not the definition of a work disability. It's just service, it's just not the way we go about it. So it's not that she's not suffering. It's not that she didn't have issues, and doing that job is very strenuous. I come from Parks and Rec, so I understand that. It's just that isn't causing her injury, thus not work-related. That's my understanding.
Okay.
That's a good summary.
Okay.
Any questions from other trustees?
I have a question.
Please.
Are the doctors only assessing the impact of 10 minutes of kneeling or the working conditions altogether that could have caused this issue?
Well, remember when, and I may be misinterpreting your question, when I think of a reference to the overall context, that triggers thoughts of the once commonly used concept of cumulative trauma. I work at a hard job, and day after day it just takes a toll on me, the sort of wear and tear theory. But as Dr. Doss mentioned, the current state of medical research discredits that traditional kind of almost common sense view. And one set of studies that really undermined that were the study of twins, where one twin worked at a physically demanding job day after day, difficulty, wear and tear, my back's falling apart. Whereas the other twin, so they're genetically similar, worked at a sedentary job day after day, didn't have the physical demanding wear and tear. And they both developed the same degree of back condition. So those were very illuminating studies that undermined in a rather significant way cumulative trauma as previously understood. There's still a role for cumulative trauma, but it's not the broad role that it once held.
So it might be that you could have cumulative trauma, but that in the case of degenerative disc disease, it's not impacted. You could have another injury cause.
You probably,
Brett?
but you could have.
Brett, could I take this one as far as a cumulative trauma issue, or?
Sure.
Please, go ahead, Dr. Das.
Okay, sure. So from a cumulative trauma standpoint, the analogy is you think of a paperclip and bending it repeatedly, and at some point it's going to break. That is kind of the concept, but since we're biologic beings, we repair and recover, so it's not a good analogy. And so when we're talking about degenerative discs, the discs, actually age and they dry up. And so there's a process within the disc, which is called imbibition, where they actually get fluid in and kind of nutrition in and get rid of the bad stuff out through that process. And you get that done by doing physically demanding work. So physically demanding work, even though it doesn't make sense, intuitively, is actually good for the discs. And we have to distinguish between lower back pain and degenerative disc disease. And the prior trustee made a very good distinction between the two. So in this particular case, she reported her symptoms immediately after the type of event that she described, and therefore in the workers' compensation arena, that was considered a triggering event, or an aggravation. So she had an underlying pathology, and they felt that particular incident was sufficient to aggravate it, and therefore within workers' compensation, you accept treatment for all of that. And so, more commonly now, you would apportion what symptoms were related to the specific incident or the mechanism of injury, and what part of her symptoms are related to the degenerative disc disease. So, if we were going to apportion her final work status or her condition, we would apportion almost all of it to the degenerative disc disease. And the contribution from that mechanism of injury that she described would be minimal. So that's one way of looking at it as well. So cumulative trauma may be a concept you can use for tendons, where they're like the rotator cuff or the extensor tendon on the forearm, where there's lack of blood flow. And when there's lack of blood flow, there's lack of recovery or healing. And sometimes that aligns more with the concept that we consider cumulative trauma. But that hopefully that kind of distinguishes between the insidious, the acute onset that she describes, and now what she describes is the cumulative trauma portion of her work. And please let me know if that wasn't clear.
That was very clear. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Did you want to add something to that, Mr. Ikeda?
No, I thought, again, that was a very a good description, and noted the appropriate continuing place for some notion of cumulative trauma, but not with respect to very significant structural defects such as degenerative disc disease that we know are progressive conditions and get worse over time.
Okay. Any other questions, Trustee Kelleher?
No.
Okay. Any other trustees with questions?
I have another question.
Please, Trustee Abasti.
It seems like that there is a dispute between the two doctors, and one of the arguments for resolving that dispute is a citation of a medical evidence, a Stanford University paper. And every scientific paper has some set of assumptions, there's a sample population, their age, their physical conditions. So I would like to know if this member is representative of the population, and how relevant is this medical evidence and the results of the study for this case? I know there is a lot of weightage given to this paper.
Well, I myself, though Dr. Das is more familiar with the paper and should respond, but remember, that's only one piece. I mean, you have the analysis of Dr. Das independent of the study. You have the characterization of Dr. Ishizui that it was minor. You have the statement summarized in Dr. Ishizui's report by Dr. Warburton that this was not a very traumatic event, referring to the December 10th, 2008 incident. So, but it's also helpful, not dispositive. Studies can always be distinguished. I think we all recognize that. It's just that there's not studies that say, as a matter, they say the opposite, that minor trauma causes or contributes in a significant manner to degenerative disc disease. There's nothing over there, and even if there were, that study could be questioned, and the assumptions could be open to scrutiny, and similarly to the studies on the other side. So the decision, I think, of Dr. Doss, though he's here and could confirm that, but the committee's understanding was not that there was substantial or primary reliance on that study. But it's just that it's helpful to note that there are studies that are germane to the issue before the committee and now before you. But ultimately,
would you like me to address that, trustee, as well?
If you will, Dr. Doss?
Sure. Well, I think that was a very insightful question, very germane, with respect to, you know, whether she is representative of the study participants. And let me kind of describe the study initially. So this was a prospective study, meaning that people did not have pain at the time, and they monitored these people and checked for imaging. And so you try to exclude people that have pre-existing back pain. You try to make sure that they're matched, meaning on age, gender, and occupation. With respect to Dr. Carraghe's study, I don't know how the matching worked, but they did have people that were working, and so what they did is they looked at people as they experienced low back pain, and whether there was any incremental change in the structural pathology based on imaging. So it was actually a very good study. There's obviously going to be limitations with any type of study that you do like this, but it was actually very well done. And then there's also retrospective studies where they look at individuals that have pain and kind of ask some questions and find out what kind of work they did. And that was initially where the whole idea of cumulative trauma came up. But they were looking at low back pain. So for these particular circumstances with degenerative disc disease, she does fit within the population. And it's not just the Carraghe study. The Carraghe study is cited because it's so well done, but there are a lot, but Mr. Rekieta cited this twin studies, which show that there's a concordance in terms of findings between the twins, even though there's a difference between the type of work that they do. And so there shows that there's a strong genetic component to these imaging findings. And there's also a strong discordance, which means they don't always match, that individuals can have lots and lots of findings, but no low back pain. And so, that's what presents a problem for a lot of people, because you can still have low back pain due to other structural findings like muscle pain or ligament pain. It just wouldn't be as significant a structural finding as when we look at degenerative disc disease, which can cause compression of nerve roots, causes instability in the spine, and that's why people sometimes need to get a laminectomy or a surgery to remove that compression, or a fusion to stabilize the spine so there's no movement, because pain is typically caused by compression or lack of blood flow or movement, where certain nerves get triggered because of ligamentous laxity, meaning the nerves that innervate the ligaments send that signal to the brain, and that's why you have to stop that movement. So I know that's a long-winded answer, but she does fit within, her findings do fit within the study criteria.
Thank you, that's helpful.
Thank you. Any other questions, Trustee Avasti?
No.
Any other trustees with any further questions? If I may offer my own observations, I think anyone who has done yard work or gardening knows it can be a very painful task. And so there's no doubt that the applicant, suffered pain. Our challenge as trustees is to look at the evidence, and of course, the challenge here for the applicant is they need to prove the connection between their disability claim and their work experience. In the absence of any medical testimony connecting those, I think it's very difficult for us to find in favor of the applicant. And having said that, would anyone like to make a motion on the acceptance or rejection of this application?
Trustee Kelleher motions to reject and deny the application and offers his sincere sympathy for her pain.
Thank you. So that's a motion to deny the application from Trustee Kelleher. Is there a second to that motion?
I second.
Chris, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. We'll take the second from Vice Chair Jennings. Is there any further trustee discussion? Any public comment on this agenda item? So hearing none, we will have a roll call vote. Vice Chair Jennings?
Aye.
Trustee Kelleher?
Aye.
Trustee Linder?
Aye.
Trustee Avasti?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. So the application is denied. All right, move forward to the next agenda item. And that is item number 3, death and survivorship notification. We'll have a moment of silence for those who have served the city and who have passed. Thank you. We will now go to item number 4, investments, and we begin with an oral update from our CIO, Mr. Polani.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As always, I will start with performance estimates from Makeda. And again, let me preface these comments by saying that these are unaudited numbers and these are estimates from our consultant. And these are through April 18th. And this is just to give you an idea of where we are in the fiscal year. We have 2 months left. So the pension plan is up fiscal year to date 4.94%, and the healthcare trust is up 7.1%. Again, these are unaudited numbers and these are estimates from Makeda. I also want to let the board know that I had the privilege of representing the board at Pension Bridge in San Francisco in the last couple of weeks, which is quite well attended post-COVID by a number of pension plans from across the country, as well as a number of investment firms. And both Dinesh and David presented at the conference and did themselves and the plan great credit. Dinesh spoke about energy transition and opportunities in energy transition, and David spoke about risk mitigation in the portfolio, and really held their own against some very high-profile speakers, including the CIO of Northern Trust. And I myself had the privilege of sharing a panel with the CIOs of San Francisco, Missouri, Toronto Transit, and City of Fort Worth. So I just wanted to make sure that the board was aware of that. So today we will be discussing performance, quarterly performance. As you all know, private equity is sort of lagged. So third quarter private equity and private markets, and then fourth quarter performance will be reviewed by Makeda. And I'm given to understand that item 4F will be deferred to May, as we have one more investment committee meeting to discuss strategic asset allocation next week, and that the full board will take it up again in May. And item 4G, Mr. Jay Kwan is chomping at the bit to discuss that item, and he will explain that. And items 4H, I, and J were presented at the investment committee, and Mr. Ron Kumar will present those to the board. With that, Mr. Chairman, I'm happy to take any questions, and if not, move on to, I believe, Dinesh, is Casey here? Yes. Yeah, Casey Boyer.
Great, thank you. Are there any questions from trustees? Any questions from the public? So hearing none, we'll move forward to item 4B, And that is the presentation on third quarter private equity from Newberger Berman.
Great. Hi, everyone. Casey Boyer from Newberger Berman. Let me take a minute to share my screen. Can everyone see?
Yes. Focus is a little off here, but I don't know if that's something we can fix. Or is it my eyes?
No,
Thank you for that. Okay.
Yeah,
Hopefully we can follow along on our iPads as well.
yeah.
Okay, great. I won't switch pages too much here, but as mentioned, I have the pleasure of giving an update on Q3. It is April, so we are working hard on Q4 as well. It is not released just yet, but through this presentation, I'll also give a little bit of update on what we're seeing and what we can expect for Q4, as well as the overall annual performance for 2022. On page 2, which is the page that you're looking at right now, we like to give just a good overview of the total private equity exposure within your portfolio. We have the legacy investments in the column to the far right, the far left, Newberger program in the middle, and then the combined statistics on the right. I would say for Q3 overall, private equity valuations did come down slightly across the market and as well within your portfolio. Not too much, but over 2022, we did see a decline. As a reminder, in 2021, all valuations and your portfolio as well went up significantly. So the slight decrease over 2022 has not taken all of that away, just as a reminder. So overall, when you're looking at this page, I think one item to look at that's helpful is just the overall commitment. So there's, in the Newberger program, a $350 million commitment. Of that amount that contributed, what has actually been put into investments is $190 million. As a reminder, the funds that we are investing in deploy capital over time, which is really great in a time period like this, that you're getting multi-vintage year exposure. We've received and sent back to your team $42.5 million of distributions as of 9/30. Since 9/30, we've sent back an additional, I think it was $1.7 million. So for Q4, that distribution amount will go up slightly. Overall, performance has been pretty good for a portfolio of this vintage. 1.8 times net multiple with a 25.6% net IRR. In terms of Q4, just to give you an estimate of what we're seeing across the Newberger platform, overall, from a quarter-to-quarter perspective, Q3 to Q4, buyout funds were up slightly. So they were up about 3%. That does not mean the whole market was up 3%. Some funds were down, some funds were up. So on average, in our portfolio, about 3.2% up for buyout funds. For venture, it was down about 3.8%. And so when you look at that also on an annual basis, when we're looking at the Newberger total kind of portfolio across the board, not just San Jose. Buyouts were down 0.2%, and venture was down about 16%. So, you know, overall, I would say 2022 down a little bit, but, you know, when we're looking at the overall performance, still very positive. I'm going to take a minute and just go to the final page, which highlights performance on a slightly different analysis. So we're looking at it not only at a total basis, but at the types of investments that we're making. I mentioned primaries, which is when we make an investment into a fund. There's also secondaries within your portfolio and co-investments, which is an investment directly into a company. You'll see the gross returns provided here by type. And a lot of the reason why we do include secondaries and co-investments into the portfolio is because they do a great job of gaining exposure to certain companies that we have high conviction around and are generating good exposure to your portfolio and some early return generation. So you'll see that here in the gross returns. Overall, when we are benchmarking your portfolio, which you'll see on the bottom of the page, as a reminder, we started this program in 2017, so we are benchmarking the performance against other vintage programs started in 2017. The net IRR of 25.56%, the net TVPI 1.79 times. Currently, for quartiling, it means that it's in the second quartile, meaning above average. And I will mention there that, you know, benchmarking is a very in-depth process where sometimes you don't have a lot of information on what's in the benchmark. And so in the 2017 benchmark here for Burgess, there were 17 other funds within that benchmark, and we're not completely aware of what their types of investments were. So it's not to say that it was the exact same strategy as yours. But overall, again, very happy with performance. I would say the takeaways, Q3 was down slightly, Q4 maybe down slightly to par, and we'll look forward to getting you that information probably in the next month. So I will pause there and just open it up for questions.
Let me begin with just a quick question and comment. We have the summation line here to vintage 2017, I assume that means all the vintages since 2017.
This performance includes all investments, yes. Since inception of this program, the vintage simply says when it was started.
Okay. And then I think it would also be helpful in the chart above where we have by investment type, if you could also add our split so that it sums to 100%, how much are we in primaries, secondaries, and co-investments, so we can see the relative size of those.
Yeah,
okay.
Of course. I think this slide does highlight it. I didn't touch on this one, but definitely makes sense to put on the next slide as well, which is an easy update we can do.
Okay.
This slide does highlight what the Neuberger program has in terms of primaries, co-investments, and secondaries, and how it looks on a combined basis with the legacy investments. We are right around 70% primaries, 26% co-investments, and then the remainder into secondaries.
Okay, great. It'd just be nice to see them all on that same chart. Okay.
Yep, agreed.
Any other questions from trustees? Okay, hearing none. There's one other request I'd like to make. I've always been keen, and you have accommodated my request to show the relative movement of our various individual investments whether they're being upgraded or downgraded with respect to which quartile performance they are. So we can see that the various up and down movements. Is there a way we can also present this on a time basis so we can see if there are, for any particular investment, an erosion over time or an increase over time in their relative performance by quartile? And how that's presented, I can leave to you. I guess what I'm trying to get at is, since the relative performance of private equity is huge, the dispersal of results between top and last quartile can be very significant. And since these are delayed in their reporting, it's good to have early warning of any investment that is showing continued signs of erosion over time. So if we had a graphical representation of that, I believe that would be enlightening.
Yeah, let me think about that. Think kind of what the best way to show over time on this might be. Now I would say in the early years, sometimes 3-4 years into a fund investment, it's really hard to even say what quartile they could be, because of it just depends on how much they have invested and kind of their deployment patterns. So that's one comment, but let me think about that, and I will try to figure out a way to incorporate that.
Great, thank you very much. Any other questions from trustees? Any comment from the public? Questions? So hearing none, we'll move forward to the next presentation, which is 4C, and I believe that's from Makita.
Welcome, Jared. I didn't realize until it was pointed out that we've never met Jared in person.
There's a lot of things we haven't done in quite some time.
Thank you for having us. It's really nice to see everybody, and even in the same room that we used to be in a few years ago. So we are going to discuss private markets return for the full portfolio, including Neuberger, but also your real estate, real assets, private debt, et cetera. So Jared's going to kick us off with that, and then I will talk about your total pension and healthcare trusts.
Thanks, Laura. Let me get set up here. Well, hi, after 2.5 years working with you all, it's nice to finally meet you all in person. So we'll touch on our private markets first. Just like Neuberger Berman, this is basically 6 months old at this point. But jumping to the second page, it's the second page of the PDF. It's first page of the footnotes, so I'll refer to the footnotes. So here we have a snapshot summarizing each of your accounts, and if we'll just focus on the far two right columns like we usually do, you'll see that your IRR compared to the public market equivalent, it's a favorable comparison in every single case, which is obviously very nice to see, and you can see that in a couple of cases the outperformance is quite significant. Neuberger Berman in particular, also real assets, real estate, there's some nice outperformance of public market equivalents there. Also, the absolute number summarized at the bottom of 9% is a nice number, and exactly what I think we're trying to achieve just in an absolute sense relative to the discount rate. On the next page, we can get into private debt. So you'll see here there are 18 total investments. There is an overweight here. There's 4.2% actual weight against the 3% target. Some of that last year, especially at the September 30th marking, is that the public markets were marked down quite a bit. So that overweight is partially due to public markets at the time increasing private markets weights. The IRR on the bottom is the lowest of the private markets, 6.2%. We've noted before that a lot of that is due to some 2010 investments that were quite large and didn't do so well. So if I fast forward to page 5, you can see that there's 150 million committed in 2010. That's roughly half of the total commitments. So the weight of those funds is significant on the IRR. Since then, investments have done much better. If you just look in the middle at 2017 to 2019 vintage years there across the middle and go to the far right again, you'll see some very nice absolute IRRs as well as some nice peer median comparisons. Moving on to real assets. There's 13 total investments here, a 2% weight against a 3% policy target as this program is still ramping up. You see the 12.6% IRR on the bottom right. Very nice number on an absolute sense and is roughly 3 times the public market equivalent. If I go to page 10 with the individual investments, a couple that I would point out here are, I guess, Cambridge Energy in particular, the third row, 40% IRR, certainly contributing nicely to the overall IRR of real assets. Moving on to real estate, you see another overweight here, 3.9% actual against the 3% target. The 7.2% IRR on the bottom right is about 4 times that of the public market equivalent. You can see the maturity of the program here on page 13, the distributions and the contributions roughly offsetting, so that's usually what you see with the more mature program. And on page 15, the individual investments, a couple I'll highlight here, kind of in the middle bottom are Rockpoint and DRA with 20% and 28.5% IRRs. They've done quite well, certainly with numbers like that. And then finally, page 18 finishes us up with the venture capital program, which, as we all know, is quite new. It's well short of the policy target at this point at 0.3%, which is 4 investments made. Those 4 investments here on page 21. So as usual, the rest of this presentation is a lot of broad market commentary, but in the interest of time, I'll stop there and see if anybody has any questions.
Great, thank you. And are there any questions from trustees? Any questions from the public? Okay, hearing none, we'll move forward to item 4D, presentation of fourth quarter calendar performance by Makita.
Thank you. So this report is a bit newer than the private markets ones, but still a bit outdated as well as of the end of December. So I'll start on page 5 just to paint the backdrop of the performance that we're looking at here. So on the right side, you can see the full calendar year 2022 for different index returns. On the left side, you can see the fourth quarter. So between September 30th and December 31st, markets recovered quite a bit. You can see non-US developed stocks, that top orange line, up 17.3% in a 3-month period. But that said, it didn't do much to offset all the negative returns on the right side, which are inclusive of that fourth quarter. It was really a unique year in the fact that investment grade bonds, the Bloomberg Aggregate Index, which is the light blue, were down 13%, while broad U.S. equities, the Russell 3000, the fourth from the bottom, were down 19.2%. So it's a bit unique to not have diversification from bonds. And that was because of the rising interest rate environment. We had sort of a perfect storm for bonds and equities to do poorly. But that made it even more important that you have other sources of diversification in your program other than bonds. And you do, luckily. You have private markets, you have real assets and commodities. You can see on the right here, the Bloomberg Commodity Index, which is very tied to the real assets investments that Jared just spoke about, was the only positive asset class for the year. And you also had hedge funds in your portfolio in the relative value and market neutral space that were designed to do well when we had equity market drawdowns, and they did. And so I'll point that out as we go through the report. Another interesting thing to note, we don't have the 2023 returns on here. I think if we all listen to the headlines and look at sort of the banking crises that happened with Silicon Valley Bank, which we know you all are at least geographically very close to, you'd think that the stock market was doing poorly in 2023, but that hasn't been the case. Thus far, 2023 through yesterday, broad U.S. stocks were up 8.1%. Developed non-U.S. stocks were in the double digits, up 10.7% for the calendar year to date period. Bonds also were positive, up 2.5% thus far this year. High yield bonds doing even better, up 4.3%. Emerging markets up 5.5%. So, you know, I was at the same conference that your folks spoke at, and have to agree that they did an excellent job. And you know, someone there described this as sort of an emotional recession more than a real backed up big data sort of recession. That's not to say that we couldn't see things change, but thus far in 2023, we have seen some strong returns, as your CIO noted when he gave the updates with year to date, the pension up almost 5% is our estimate, and the healthcare trust up over 5%. So I'm not going to go through every market slide in the interest of time, but wanted to set that backdrop for getting into your plan-specific performance. So if we skip ahead, a couple of things I'll point out on page 24. We always include here a watch list. So this is a standard report. You know, sometimes we don't point it out. Typically, we'd mention it if we had a recommendation for a major change to the portfolio as a result of one of these things, but you can see the Makita recommendation column says hold for each of these things. We just want to keep you informed when there are team changes. There is one manager, Cove Street, on the watch list for poor performance. One thing I'll note is that GQG Partners, which is has been a high conviction manager for Makita, we still recommend holding it in your portfolio, but there have been some organizational changes, including a recent relatively abrupt departure of one of the portfolio managers. GQG was founded by a gentleman named Rajiv Jain, and he is really the primary decision maker, key person, still there, and really runs the process. So it's a little bit less of a concern for us if someone else that works for him leaves, given how much control he maintains over the process. But just wanted to point that out to you, that it's something that we're watching along with your investment staff here at San Jose. So skipping ahead to the total pension plan, starting on page 29, you can see the overall asset allocation. You can see the current allocations relative to policy. We are in the process of doing the strategic asset allocation review. We're going to have a meeting soon where we'll delve into asset allocation a bit further. But you'll see in this report that your current asset allocation has been performing quite well. As I mentioned, you do have allocations to non-growth assets that held up during 2022. Those are the ones that are categorized as low beta and other. And in terms of performance, you can see here, looking at the full calendar year of 2022, it was a negative return, as you'd expect in a market environment with investment grade bonds down 13% and U.S. equities down 19%. But your managers and asset allocation did protect assets in that market environment, with a total fund return for the 1 year down 9.2%. And that outperformed every one of the benchmarks that we look at, as well as the peer group. You can see that if the fund had been invested in just a 60% global equity, 40% global bond allocation, it would have been down 17.4%, so essentially double what it was down. You can see here the policy benchmark was down 9.4, the investable benchmark portfolio down 10, and then I'll also point out the low-cost passive portfolio. So the policy benchmark and the investable benchmark use your actual private markets return as part of the to represent private markets. The low-cost passive portfolio uses a global equity, what you could actually invest in. None of us could actually, you know, at least me as an individual, couldn't go out and invest in the private markets that you all are invested in. And so we like to look at what if you could would have to put that in global equity instead. And that return is the low-cost passive portfolio, down 13.1% for the year. The 3-year returns, I think, are incredibly impressive. If you take a look at the average annual 3-year return was up 7.1%. Following this, major drawdown in 2022. And if you look at the peer group, which is public defined benefit plans greater than $1 billion, your pension plan ranked in the top 5% for the 3-year period. 5-year returns are top quartile as well. So you see some quite strong returns recently. And we have the individual asset classes relative to benchmarks and peer groups on these slides as well. If you take a look at page 31, the next slide, you can see private markets. So there is a lag, as we've discussed, with valuations in private markets. So we may still see some write-downs. We will likely still see some write-downs, especially in certain sectors like office real estate and things like that. But also private markets are less volatile. So I think some of the protection of private markets is real, and some of it is sort of based on accounting. But you do see a private markets return insulating the 2022 numbers up 4.8%, and you can see below that private debt, growth real estate, each individual real assets, private markets asset class held up quite well. Also, the way that you implement public markets was protective during 2022. If you take a look at page 32 and look at emerging markets debt in particular, emerging markets debt, you have a long short emerging market debt manager, and so they can actually short emerging markets debt. And so when an emerging markets debt is going down and they can short it, they can have a positive return. So you can see here the emerging markets debt, that strategy when emerging markets debt is up isn't as great, and you can see that in the most recent quarter that the peer relative return is low, but it's very protective in down market environments. And you can see that emerging market debt was positive in your portfolio. These are public securities, so there's no lag there, up 1.1% relative to down 15% for the benchmark and down 13% for the peer group. And then I mentioned as well some of your hedge funds, which are here within low beta and market neutral strategies, were designed and implemented so that they would perform well in a volatile environment or an equity drawdown. So you see a 23.5% one-year return for market neutral and relative value strategies. I'll get into the individual managers for some of those asset classes that I just mentioned. So if we look in particular on page 42, you can see emerging markets debt and that long short manager, which is Wellington Iguazu, that held up quite well. And if we look at the next slide at 43, you can see the individual hedge funds in the portfolio, in particular D.E. Shaw, Hudson Bay, Crable, that held up quite well during 2022 as well. So some good diversification within your pension plan that muted some of that negative environment during the year. And then if we look at page 49, these next few pages leading up to 49 look at investment gains or losses for individual investments. And the bottom total here shows that there were more withdrawals than contributions. So about negative $49 million in net cash flows during the fourth quarter of 2022 and $121 million in investment gains. So a positive fourth quarter from a cash flow perspective. I'll take a look at, let's see here, at page 56 to look at some of the risk statistics in the plan because, I think showing that the pension plan's performance, it was insulated during 2022 and was not as volatile, and that's proven out here on page 56, another way of looking at this. So on the left column, you see the annualized return within the peer group. So the total fund return was down 9.2, the peer group median was down 11.1. But then in the second column, we look at the annualized standard deviation or volatility in the plan. So you can see that the plan's volatility was 10.7, whereas the median for the peer group was 10.9. So a higher return, a lower volatility than the peer group. And so we look at the measures of risk-adjusted return here, the Sharpe ratio and Sortino ratio in the third and the fourth columns. And you can see that they are at or near the top quartile. Let me see here. I think I will just skip ahead to peer relative returns as a whole on page 61. So again, this is just another graphical representation of the total peer group information, but for the 1 year return that was pretty close to top quartile for the peer group, 3 years in the top 5% and 5 years in the top quartile. So a market improvement that you should all be congratulated on for, relative especially to that 10-year experience where peer relative returns were not as strong. So I'm happy to answer any questions on the overall pension fund report before we move into healthcare.
Thank you. Are there any questions from trustees? I am curious, you pointed out that our performance was a little bit better than the peer group and our relative standard deviation much less. To what do we attribute that? I would think it would be because we have a much higher allocation to private markets, but I don't think that's the case relative to our peer group.
You're right. That is not actually the case, and we can see that on on page 62, the next page here. So if you look at alternatives and you look at the green dot, you know, I always mention this when I look at this chart, but take all of this information with a grain of salt because it's all self-reported by all of your peers. So for example,
We trust them.
you might have, you might have targets to private equity and venture capital and private debt. Other folks might just group it all into alternatives, and that sort of thing. So, you know, you can see some deviations here. There was a higher cash allocation for the year as a whole, given your immunized cash flows, and so that definitely helped the standard deviation. And then some of those individual manager exposures I mentioned, the sort of long volatility hedge funds that are going to do well in drawdowns and were less volatile. And I think there's just sort of an attitude on the investment team that Makita is a big fan of in terms of you know, looking for managers that might be a bit less volatile than the peer group as a whole.
Okay. Any other trustees with questions? Any questions from the public?
Question? Matt?
Please, Council Liederman.
Thank you. Laura, I wonder if we could comment a moment on the slide on page 52. We're in the asset allocation phase, and trustees are classically told that in the investment, this is the most important thing they can do is asset allocation, and should focus their attention heavily on that. And I'm looking at over the last 3 years, does this chart tell us that actually asset allocation kind of has taken a back seat to selection, actually selection of good investments and good managers? And I think it would be helpful for the board to understand this slide and this performance and what the excess performance is due to selection ability.
That's a really good question. And attribution can be something that seems very scientific, but can also sort of be a tricky business. And you know, so the asset allocation here represents asset allocation to these broad asset classes. Selection takes into account both manager selection and also how your investment team has expressed the asset allocation. So for example, whether or not you put small cap assets into value or growth, one could argue could be either allocation or selection. For the purposes of this analysis, it's listed as selection. So there's, I would say I'd attribute the selection to your investment team, but some of that is the way that they implement the asset allocation and is truly an asset allocation decision as well. If that makes sense.
Hand in glove.
Yeah.
Right? So we need to have a good investment team.
But in 2022, I would say, you know, individual managers probably were a bit more are much more important in a market environment like we had last year, where there was a huge amount of deviation between individual managers in an asset class, which is, I think, a bit unique relative to history.
So we're likely to see a somewhat different attribution as we move forward.
Over the long term, asset allocation is generally about 90% of your overall investment returns, but your team has done a very good job of manager selection.
So they've done a great job on that last 10%.
Yes.
But 90% of the game is
which was more than
allocation.
the 10% last year.
Yeah. Thank you.
I might also add for attribution that the policy benchmark instantly gets the whatever asset allocation you vote on if it changes, whereas the portfolio realistically can't instantly achieve that. And so if the policy benchmark, if you change it right and the policy benchmark has more private markets, and in that period private markets do better, the policy benchmark is cheating a little bit because your portfolio can't instantly ramp up like that. So it could be that the period has a situation like that where your policy you chose was good and the policy benchmark instantly gets that benefit when you're looking at this particular time period of attribution, if that makes sense.
So that would be the case if we made sort of major changes in our allocation.
Yeah.
Okay, which we haven't done in recent years. Okay.
Yeah, I was just gonna
Trustee
say
Kelleher?
that, it's also very important to remember that we are looking at one particular data point.
Moment in
and
time.
We actually have a 30-year, 40-year horizon, and we need to think about 30, 40 years, not 3. I like asset allocation.
As do we all. Any other questions or comments? Mr. Pye, did you want to weigh in? I kind of saw your eyebrows raised.
No comment.
Okay, you'll take a pass, great. Any other questions from trustees and/or questions from the public? All right, thank you. We're up to item 4D. And I would like to take a break at the 10 o'clock hour, but if we feel we can go through 4D relatively expeditiously?
That was D.
I'm sorry, for E?
We haven't done the healthcare yet, and I can do it expeditiously.
Very good. Let us proceed.
So, as you know, the healthcare trust is sort of a subset of the managers and the pension, so nothing different to, in terms of major strategy to discuss. So on page 27, which is up here, you can see the total current balance as of the end of December at $361 million, and you can see the current allocations relative to policy. Typically, if any changes are made to the pension allocation, we then make sure that that's strategically reflected in the healthcare asset allocation as well. On page 28, you can see a really great recent quarter for the healthcare trust, up 6.8% and ranking in the top 4% of the total fund aggregate. The one-year return was weaker than the pension fund, as we'd expect, given that you can't invest in some of the illiquid alternatives in a smaller asset size that needs to be more liquid in this portfolio. So, typically, peer relative performance for the healthcare trust, you see when equity markets are up, because this has a higher beta, this fund, you're going to see a stronger peer rank. And when markets are down, weaker, but you can see, quite strong peer relative rankings along the health and welfare peer group in this report. So with that, I don't think that we need to go through individual managers, given that they're also represented in your pension portfolio.
Great, thank you. Any questions from trustees? Any questions from the public? All right, hearing none, I thank you for the presentation, and we will have a 5-minute recess. Thank you.
Thank you.
Return to our meeting. We will reconvene. I believe the next item on the agenda was 4G, discussion and action. I'm sorry, on 4F, discussion and action on strategic asset allocation. But I believe, as Mr. Polani indicated earlier, we're going to defer that to next month, as we will have another IC meeting between now and then. So we will look forward to that with great anticipation to discuss at the May meeting. And now we will go to 4G, which is discussion and action on the pre-funding of the city's retirement contribution. And Mr. Kwan, you're going to speak to us on that?
I will. I did promise Roberto that I'll keep this under 5 minutes, so with your cooperation, I'm sure it'll go smoothly.
Okay.
If you'll recall, this is the time of the year where we discuss pre-funding. That's the sponsor's contribution for the year, and the relationship works in such fashion that the city, as a sponsor, has the option to pre-fund their annual contribution. That means just one lump sum. It's been one lump sum payment at the beginning of the year, as opposed to paying throughout the year with that 2-week payroll cycle. In that relationship, you all as a board have the discretion to set the discount rate given or offered to the city to discount those payments and calculate that upfront lump sum amount. And the discount rate methodology is something that you all reviewed and approved a few years back. It's based on a few different economic and financial measures. And according to that methodology, this year we would offer the city, or we should offer the city, the full discount rate. I would let you know, though, that the city has already notified us that they would prefer to not pre-fund, or they elect to not pre-fund the contributions for Tier 1 and the Healthcare Trust. So in that sense, this discussion is kind of moot, but we still have I would call it a responsibility to decide on the discount rate. And frankly, the way a lot of the processes work is we look back to see what happened last year. And so next year, I don't want to be in the position of saying, oh, I have no idea what happened last year, even though we hopefully remember. So I would ask that the board approve staff's recommendation to offer the city the full discount rate in accordance with the approved methodology, despite knowing that the city has already chosen not to pre-fund.
Okay.
Thank you so very much, Jay. You are absolutely right. It's very, very helpful to have this background information. So much appreciated.
He's not being sarcastic. I mean, he's really
hard to tell sometimes. I don't think.
So do we need action then to approve the discount rate that the city already said they're not going to utilize? Is that correct?
I think that would be appropriate.
Okay. Should we have been? I know we missed the meeting because we didn't have quorum. Should we have discussed this earlier, prior to the city's decision? Or did we get the sequencing at a step?
No, I think the city finance department did get in touch with us, and they knew that as per the methodology, they would get the full discount. We did point out the board could still override it.
I see.
So the decision was made by the city independent of this.
Okay, they just made a very quick decision. Okay.
Do you know why they chose not to pre-fund it?
Actually, I don't. Maybe Trustee
They
Avasti
actually,
knows.
no, that's a good question. They didn't really give us a reason. They don't really have to. They elected, by the way, to pre-fund police and fire, but not Federated.
Is there a different amount? Is like police and fire more or less?
Well, I think in their budget, as you know, so some of these contributions come from the general fund, and some of them do not. And I think it has something to do with that variation between the two plans, how much of it general fund covers for one plan versus the other. I think that's part of the discussion. Yes.
Very heavy general fund. I think they do have probably some other funds, but predominantly general fund.
So, I mean, I think that's part of it, but I can't speculate as to the rationale behind the reason for that, no, thank you.
Interesting, okay.
And thank you, Jay, once again. So next year, we'll certainly have this discussion to look back to so that we know what was discussed.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be helpful.
Yes, it will be helpful, thank you.
We look very much forward to looking back next year. So with that, would someone like to formulate a proposal that we accept the discount rate as suggested by staff?
Trustee Kelleher, so motions?
So we have a motion from Trustee Kelleher. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a second from Vice Chair Jennings. Any discussion by trustees? Any public comment? We will have a roll call vote. Vice Chair Jennings?
Aye.
Trustee Kelleher?
Aye.
Trustee Linder?
Aye.
Trustee Avasti?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye as well. It passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next, okay, next item is 4H. Do you want to take H, I, and J concurrently, but having separate votes on each?
Correct, so the discussion can take place at once, but the motions have to be separate motions. And I do want to thank everyone in the break. The city reminded me to remind everyone that when you speak, please speak to the microphone so that it actually comes through loud enough, you know, in the TV and the recording. So thank you.
Okay, so will you be presenting on H, I, and J, Mr. Pena?
I would, but Ron wanted to do it himself,
Oh, okay.
so I'm going to allow Ron to do so. Welcome, Ron. Good to see you.
Thank you. We don't allow Mr. Pena to do these things. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So we have 3 recommendations.
If we can have the microphone a little bit closer,
sorry.
as suggested.
Yeah. So we have 3 contracts that are for renewal: Makita Investment Group, Virus Advisory, and Barra LLC. Makita is the general investment consultant for the plan, and Virus is the risk advisory consultant. And Barra is paired with Virus to provide risk data. In 2017, an RFP was conducted, and Virus and Makita were hired. There was a follow-on RFP in 2020, and both firms were retained again as general consultant and risk advisor. In March of this year, the IC reviewed the staff's recommendation to renew the contract for 1 year for these firms and conduct an RFP in the next fiscal year. With that, I would take any questions you may have.
And may I just remind the board that these were discussed and approved by the IC and recommended by the IC?
Yeah.
You know, I'm sorry, when was the RFP issued?
2020.
2020? Thank you.
The latest one.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from trustees? Any questions or comments from the public? So as I said, we're going to take these individually. So item 4H is approval of the Makita amount not to exceed $350,000. Do we have a motion to approve that new amount?
Mr. Chairman, it's 350,500.
Oh, thank you. These aging eyes did not see that last 500. Do we have such a motion?
I'll make the motion, Trustee Linder.
Thank you from Trustee Linder. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second.
We have a second from Trustee Avasti. Any discussion by trustees? Any questions or comments from the public? Hearing none, we will have a roll call vote. Vice Chair Jennings?
Aye.
Trustee Kelleher?
Aye.
Trustee Linder?
Aye.
Trustee Avasti?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Item 4H is passed. Now we will take item 4I, which is the contract for Virus, which is $125,000 even. And do we have a motion to accept this new contract with the amount not to exceed?
So moved.
We have a motion from
Trustee Linder, yeah.
Mr. Trustee Linder made the motion. And do we have a second from Trustee Kelleher?
Yes, seconded.
Thank you. Any trustee questions, discussions, any public discussion? Hearing none, we will have a vote. Vice Chair Jennings?
Aye.
Trustee Kelleher?
Aye.
Trustee Linder?
Aye.
Trustee Avasti?
Aye.
And chair votes aye. Now move to item 4J. This is the action to approve the not to exceed item for Barra of $96,000 even. Is there a motion from any trustees to accept this amount? Anyone?
So motioned.
We have a motion from trustee Kelleher. Do we have a second?
I'll second it, trustee Linder.
Thank you. A second from trustee Linder. Any discussion from trustees? Any comment from the public? Hearing none, we will have a vote. Vice Chair Jennings?
Aye.
Trustee Kelleher?
Aye.
Trustee Linder?
Aye.
Trustee Avasti?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye, so that item is approved. And now we move on to agenda item 5A, old business. Discussion and action on an increase of the administrative budget for professional services to a total of $950,000. This was deferred from the March meeting. And who will be presenting on this item?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So that will be Barbara. Usually I present the budget request, but Barbara has been asking me for the longest time to give her a chance to join on these presentations and requests, and she's so excited this morning to be able to present to you these two items. So she not only will be presenting this request for the remaining of the fiscal year, but will be also presenting the budget request from the office for the upcoming 2023 and 2024 fiscal year, Mr. Chair. So with that, I'll turn it over to Barbara.
Thank you, Mr. Pena, and thank you, Mr. Chair. So this item is requesting approval to increase the fiscal year 2022-23 administrative budget for the professional services by 100,000 to a total of 950,000. Now, the board originally approved a budget of 850,000 for the professional services at their March 2022 board meeting for the 22-23 fiscal year. The administrative budget is broken into four main categories: personnel services, non-personnel services, professional services, and medical services. The overall budget approved for last year was $5,779,000. The board need only approve modifications when a category is projected to exceed the approved budget, and due to higher than anticipated legal services for fiduciary counsel involving several cases throughout the year, as well as the Medicare mandate and more temporary staffing services being used to backfill vacancies and during peak periods, expenditures for professional services have increased and currently are projected to exceed the budget that was approved. Staff is recommending the budget for the professional services category for fiscal year 22-23 be increased by 100,000, modifying the budget for the professional services category to 950,000. And that would increase the overall administrative budget from the 7,779,000 to 5,879,000 for the fiscal year 22-23.
Okay, thank you. Is there any questions from trustees on this budgetary item? Any questions from the public? Would a trustee like to formulate a proposal that we accept this budget?
I so propose.
We have a motion from Vice Chair Jennings. Is there a second?
Trustee Kelleher will second.
We have a second from Trustee Kelleher. Is there any further discussion from trustees? Any discussion from the public? Hearing none, we will have a roll call vote. Vice Chair Jennings?
Aye.
Trustee Kelleher?
Aye.
Trustee Linder?
Aye.
Trustee Avasti?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Budget item is passed. We will move forward to the item 5B, discussion action on the ORS administrative budget for fiscal year 23-24.
So good morning, Barbara Heyman, ORS Deputy Director. I'm here to talk to you about the budget for fiscal year 23-24. And this item is seeking approval for the budget for the upcoming fiscal year. And I'll now go over the budget presentation with you now. So the first slide here is showing us the overall budget presentation. We'll go over the development of the budget, administrative expenses, breakdown sources and uses, followed by the uses of funds, then proposed administrative budget, the personnel services analysis, non-personnel equipment analysis, the professional services analysis, and the medical services analysis, and finally the analysis and comparisons to other California plans. So moving to the next slide, if you look at the agenda, there's 3 budget documents. The budget documents included on today's agenda for the board are the exact documents that are sent to the City Budget Office as well as the City Council. For several years now, the source and use has been included. Including this information was a recommendation that came out of a prior city audit of ORS back in 2017. As part of that same audit, there was a recommendation, which is actually still outstanding, to include in our administrative budget costs associated with our investment expenses. We, as in the office and you board, based on your general counsel's legal analysis, were not able to meet that particular audit recommendation for a number of reasons. 2 main points being state retirement laws usually indicate that investment earnings are not used to pay investment expenses and are used, I'm sorry. And when I say investment expenses, I'm referring to those management fees. The second is we do not know exactly what the market is going to do in the upcoming fiscal year, and so it's difficult to determine how much in management fees we would be requesting you board pay managers. So that said, while we weren't able to agree on the particular issue, we did understand that the basic premise was transparency. And so to that end, staff provide an estimate. They include what those managers' fees may be in the upcoming year, assuming that the asset allocation return the assumed rate of return, which right now is 6 5/8. First, of course, we look at the actual asset allocation and then assume we're going to return the 6 5/8 to provide some estimates. In addition to that, every August, the investment staff produce a comprehensive investment fees report that is a calendar year basis. They come before you boards in August for a presentation, and the CIO goes in front of the City Council in September and makes that presentation as well. The main point being here that we agree with the City Auditor and the City on the point of transparency and on the issues and have taken steps to remedy those audit recommendations. And so with that, let me continue with this budget presentation. So we have the sources of funds. Those are city contributions, participant contributions, and investment earnings. Those are our 3 sources of funds. And we use those funds to do 2 things, mostly to pay benefits and health insurance, which is actually quite a sizable amount, and also to pay administrative expenses for the office. So if we go to the next slide. So again, the budget is divided into 4 main categories. We've got the personnel services, which is by far the largest number of the administrative budget. And then we have a bucket for non-personnel services and professional services. And actually that's the category that you just approved to increase for last year. And lastly, the medical services. So for medical services, or no, not for medical, for personnel services, we use a 50% split based on the Budget Office labour reports to apportion the cost between police and fire and Fed. That is except for the investment staff. For the investment staff, we split that on the market value between the both plans. So that's 40% for Federated, 60% for police and fire. So as I said, for the rest of the cost of expenses, it is a 50-50 split. only personnel for investment is the 4060. So the non-personnel equipment is basically the overhead costs. That includes rent, supplies, equipment. It excludes professional services, as obviously professional services, it's its own category. The professional services category is basically your actuary, legal, IT and accounting, and other consulting services as needed. And then lastly, the medical services, and that's the costs associated with the disability retirement process.
Hey, Barbara,
So-
can I ask you a question?
Oh, yes, please.
All right, so since I'm kind of budget savvy, you know, as an employee, so this is a little more specific. Retirement services, are they, like most departments, and I know retirement services is very different, do you have two separate appropriations, one for personal services and one for non-personal, or not? How, I forget how you guys operate.
I'm going to ask Benji for those specifics.
So we only have appropriation for the personnel expenses. That's the only thing that the budget office reviews and makes sure that is in line with the city budget. Everything else is because it comes from the funds. They're not part of those appropriations.
Even the non-personal equipment?
No.
Really? So you have one fund and it's personal service and you get,
We
you
have
might
multiple funds,
okay.
right? But it's not part of the general city fund.
It's not part of the city budget that they'll see. So you see the personal service, and your personal service is based on the staffing that you have, not including the investment staff,
No,
right?
it includes the investments.
But then they allocate part of that out?
No, it
so,
includes.
So let me take that. So
Okay.
personnel services is everyone in the office.
Okay.
I think I have made the point in the past that through California code, it indicates that any investment-related expenses can be taken directly off the plans, right?
Yeah.
I have chosen not to do that in San Jose for the investment expenses related to personal expenses because I'm aware of what you just asked and what Ben just explained, that personal expenses flow through the budget office and eventually is approved by the city council.
Right.
So I have made the decision to leave those expenses as part of the personal expenses. So it
Okay.
includes all the costs associated with investment staff as well.
Okay. All right.
But I just want to make the point again, if you compare us to perhaps another system in California, they may have made the decision based on the California code that their personal expenses will not include investment personnel because those are to be taken, or they could be taken directly off the planned earnings without having to flow through the administrative budget.
And the accounting for all this is that in separate, system? Is that your?
No, we use FMS.
You
The
still use
cities-
FMS
yes,
for
we
all
do.
the rest, so somehow all the other stuff is flowing through it, it's just not on the budget document.
That's correct.
Okay, again, given my background, it just helps me to understand it, thank you.
Yes, and actually at the end of this presentation, or the latter slides, you're going to see some comparative slides to other agencies or peers within the California. And so, like Roberto says, some of those agencies will have decided to take those investment costs out and won't be reflected, but you'll see. You'll see.
So
in
that
those.
makes it a little harder to compare, right?
It is, yeah.
As long as you note
It's
it.
sometimes not apples to apples, exact
Right.
apples to apples. So just
Okay.
keep that in mind. So moving to the next slide, we're going to talk about our sources of funds. So this graph is showing you the actual forecast and proposed sources of funds over the last 4 years. And as you can see for fiscal year 23-24 in this graph, the investment income for the forecast and proposed is calculated based on the assumed rate of return on the asset allocation, if we do return 6 5/8. And if that all is true, we would produce about 157 million investment income. And based on the actuarial valuations that are approved by Chiron, for the 22-23 year, we expect about $39.4 million for participant contributions and about $234.6 million for city contributions. So now going to the next slide, this is showing the same information for the uses of funds, and we have the actual number for the last 4 years, forecast for the current year, 2023, and proposed for the coming 23-24 year. And as you can see, the administrative expenses is the smallest amount at 6.3 million, health insurance at 32.4 million, but obviously the bulk is actually the pension benefits, which is $255.4 million. So if we go to the next slide, this is showing the proposed budget. I mentioned earlier the proposed budget is about $6.3 million for this year, or this upcoming year, and that is comprised of about 4.3 of personnel services, 872,000 for the non-personnel equipment, 931,000 for professional services, and 145,000 for medical services. So if you look at the total at $6.3 million, it is about a 10.4% increase from the forecast for the current year. We're forecasting the current year to be about $5.66 million. So now if you look at 22-23 adopted / modified, you'll see the two figures at the bottom, the 5,779,000 and the 5,879,000. The modified amount being the amount just approved in the prior budget of item. The next slides will provide you the detail now on these numbers. So if we go to, so in terms of personnel services, right now we have a forecast of 43 positions for the proposed. It assumes a position count of 44, and Roberto is working through the city process with the mayor's office. The initial indication is that we'll get an additional 1 position for the benefits division. So for today, we are proposing to you an amount that assumes that 1 position will be approved. And that position is for a Medicare analyst in our benefits group. That would increase our positions from 43 to 44 positions for the office. And again, the split for this cost will be half and half with the both plans, Federated and Police and Fire. And it comes to about 22 positions allocated to each. So going to our next slide, we should see our org chart. So the next slide is showing our proposed org chart for the 23-24 fiscal year. And Benji, if you wouldn't mind just circling your mouse over that 1 new position, it's shown in yellow with very faint dots. Yeah, the newly proposed position is adding a Medicare analyst to the health team in benefits. In addition, we are proposing to upgrade the account technician position to an accountant 1 or 2, and upgrading the vacant office specialist to a senior office specialist.
Those are proposals?
Those are the proposals.
Those are proposals?
Yes.
And so it's an overstrength position for the Medicare analyst? Is it limit-dated?
No, it's 1 brand new full-time.
So that position, it says overstrength underneath it. Is it? It's currently an overstrength. Is that it? The
Yes,
Medicare
currently
analyst?
overstrength, yes.
Pardon?
Maybe. So the budget approved an overstrength position currently, but they will revisit it during the year to try and convert it to a permanent position.
Okay, so you limit dated and now you're trying to go. Okay, gotcha.
Yes, thank you, Benji.
Yeah, all right. Like I said, this is kind of my world.
Oh, yes.
This is not my world.
I know, not at all.
What exactly is overstrength?
Okay, so can I?
Oh, go ahead. Yes, please.
All right. So it depends. If council approves a position in the budget, usually an overstrength, a lot of times it's limit dated. So if it's limit dated, it's usually 1 year. It's limit dated to the end of the fiscal year, which is June, and it counts as a position. But sometimes during the year, you're like, I got this great need and I need to do it. So you put forward a memo that goes forward. It's an overstrength position that gets approved through the budget office, but it's not counted as a full-time equivalent. The person, can go into it if they choose to. A lot of times they just, quote, backfill it. Okay. But they're not counted budget. So a limit-dated position is a much better situation for the employee because at least they go into it and they gain seniority. Complicated.
Okay.
City's complicated.
I'll just accept it.
That's a good idea. But all overstrengths or limit-dated positions expire. So it's like they have a set life. And then they expire, and poof, they're gone. And when you go into the new year, you start with a base full-time, it's called a salary fringe file, but you start with a base budget. And those positions are no longer there. They're gone. And if you want to keep them, then you go through the process they're going through now, and you ask City Council to give you that additional position. And you have to justify it.
Yeah, so very good explanation. When you retire, you may want to come and work with us so you can make this presentation to the board. But I just wanted to take 2 minutes, if you don't mind, Trustee Kelleher and Chair.
Please.
So I attended a meeting yesterday where there was a presentation about the city budget. And oddly enough, you just explained the base budget. We were the only department that I know in that meeting that the base budget was the same as last year. Everybody else in the city have positions, So it made me feel good because, I always work through the mayor's office and I realized that the city has been very supportive, but so have we. And so it just gave me more strength or overstrength for next year to make sure that we push that position. Going back to the Medicare position, it's an issue that came up recently where we had a project, but there's a lot of work that needs to continue to make sure that we can continue providing the services that we need to for Medicare purposes and making sure that we timely get the members that coming up for Medicare age to join Medicare so it doesn't have any particular impact to the city in additional cost. There was, I guess, a difference of opinion that position is overstrength and it's limited day because they felt that once we limit or decrease the number of people that are impacted by that situation, that we don't need a position anymore, but that's not the case. I just explained. So we will probably come back again next year and we will see this position, instead of being overstrength, it will be just a regular position because we feel strong about the fact that this is a position that will need to continue year to year to make sure that we can properly manage the Medicare work that is needed. So, thank you.
Yeah, it's very demanding, and if you don't do it correctly, it has financial implication.
Correct.
So it is of need.
That is right. And so, yes, to that point that Roberta just made, last year we did add 3 new positions, and this year we're asking for 1 more in this current year. So going to the next slide then, this is the explanation for the non-personnel equipment. Last year you adopted 798,000, and this year we're asking a little more at 872,000. That's about a 9% increase from last year's adopted. And that's mainly due to an increase in the IT budget for a new financial reporting system at $10,000, in addition to about $15,000 for cubicle reconfiguration for the benefits division for new staff. And also postage and mailing increased about $15,000 for additional outreach. And the rest of the increases are related to CPI increases in the rest of the areas, which includes rent and everything else. So going to the next slide, we'll see the detail. So here we have the detail of the non-personnel equipment. The largest costs are for fiduciary and commercial liability insurance and the rent. And then we have IT hardware and so on and so forth. And that adds up to a total of the 872,000. We also have travel of 30,000 in this bucket. We've kept that at that number for a couple of years now. But obviously because of COVID, we've had much less travel. But we do expect that we'll get closer to that number now that trustees and staff are traveling again to various, conferences and round tables. So going to the next slide, the next one is for professional services. This is the category that you actually modified this year, just got approved. That's why in column B, you'll see the adopted at 850,000 and the modified at 950,000. The forecast at the minute is at 898,981. So when we compare the adopted to the proposed, it's a 9.53% increase. However, obviously comparing it to the modified, it's a 2% decrease. And when you compare the proposed to the forecast, it's a 3.56 increase. So the rationale behind that is that there has been some work associated with this current year that has caused us to ask for the increase to the adopted. But going forward into the next year, we wouldn't expect that to be repeated. So that's why that number is lower. So now if we go to our next slide, this slide provides you the detail of what makes up the 931,000 for professional service. The bulk of the number is legal, so mostly your general fiduciary counsel, which is Reed Smith. It also includes Ice Miller, the tax counsel, and Saltzman and Johnson, the disability counsel, and that accounts for 359,000. Your actuary, Karen, they perform 2 valuations a year for the Federated system, and they do further work on benefit calculations, including 415 matters, as well as other miscellaneous consultations, and that comes to 270,000. And then we have our temporary agencies. This is when we have temporary staff either fill for vacancies or supplement staff for special projects, including our open enrollment. And so that is comes in at 132,000. Then there's your audit, which is your financial audit at $85,000. There's an item under the new business on today's agenda, which is a recommendation for a new external auditor. You've been using Grant Thornton for the past several years, but their agreement has expired, which means we had to go out for an RFP for audit services. So there are other professional services that we do work with, so Berwin for retiree searches, Cortex for your governance, and the board communications consultant. She helps with our newsletter. And finally then the pension administration system at 24,000 for web changes, disaster recovery, change requests and hosting. So now if we go to our next slide, so this is our fourth main bucket.
May I ask a question on that, if I may, Mr. Chair?
Oh, please.
Please, Council Liederman, proceed.
Barbara, the proposed contract later on our agenda for MGO for audit services is greater than 85,000.
I will answer that. At the time that I put this budget together, we were expecting the audit fees to be this amount. So when afterwards we got the RFPs, it was a little bit higher amount, but it was only like 6,000.
So should we?
So we think within the category it should be okay. The budgeted amount should be okay within the main category, even though that particular line item might be more.
Okay, just so whatever we vote on the budget, we should, whatever the actual number is that you want, reconciles. That's great. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah. So this fourth main bucket, this is medical services, and this is the cost associated with the disability applications. That has remained flat compared to prior years. Now, as you know, we did make some changes to the disability process this past year, initially bringing on a board medical advisor and then ultimately moving those services to the independent medical examiners, or IMEs. The forecast number is taking into account costs incurred so far this year and then just doubling it. So we may see an increase in the latter half of the year, but that is why the forecast to proposed is high at 67.71. So moving to our next slide, this provides you board with some data that allows you to compare our budget request with other similarly sized peer plans throughout the state of California. This slide is showing personnel expenses. And keep in mind that San Jose, we have one office and we serve 2 boards and 2 plans, and which isn't typical. I've heard Roberto comment on occasions that we're the only plan he knows of with that structure. That impacts some of the costs associated with this. So the federated system does seem on the higher side. Of course, we are in the Bay Area, and so we're looking at other agencies across the whole entire state. And unlike other agencies, we have a larger in-house investment staff supporting our board's investment objectives, which obviously was a strategic decision of you boards. But it does have an impact, and as we discussed earlier, some other agencies don't even include their investment staff in their personnel services. So, just keep that in mind when looking at this chart. So this is showing the personnel expenses in basis points of market value of assets based on the most recent financial statement. So the red X is for the federated system. The green O represents our police and fire, and the blue plus is representing if you combine both the plans to give you kind of a combined look. So the next slide, it is again personnel services, but instead of basis points, it's actually showing the dollar amount. So we have some comparative information on the next 2 slides for the administrative costs. You can see federated police and fire and combined compared to our peers throughout the California. So here it's evidence that obviously the economies of scales are working to the advantage of the larger plans with the larger asset sizes. But again, I would mention the higher costs in the Bay Area and taking into account our investment team. So I think it shows that we are in line with our peers, perhaps a bit higher, but for the reasons I mentioned earlier. And that actually concludes the budget presentation. I'm happy to take any questions that you may have. Staff are seeking approval from the board on the proposed budget.
Great, thank you for that detailed presentation. Are there any questions from trustees?
I just have one more question on staffing. It seems to me that it would really benefit the office if you had someone dedicated to travel. Or at least that is maybe 75% of their job, and then they can do maybe credit card processing or something else. Mm-hmm. In all the other departments, it's set up like that. And I think having travel under the staff tech or the, your person is not conducive. I don't think things are getting through. I don't think it meets the needs of the department. And it's not, in all other departments, it's seriously a senior account clerk that does that. And I just seriously believe you need that additional support. So I'm just going to say that to put it on the record. And given the lack of staffing that you have dedicated, I think it's really just staffing. Okay, I don't think it's the people. Mm-hmm. But it really deters my interest in travel.
We actually are taking the travel process away from where it was before, mm-hmm. And moving it to the accounting staff, mm-hmm. You cannot tell, but Benji is really excited about it. He's really excited about that.
Our senior accountants, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
and
we
so,
do recognize that.
We do agree that it needs to be in another area, and so we're going to see how that works. And
Well, hopefully
certainly
they
we'll take that
have-
in consideration for next year budget in
Yeah.
the case that, that there's a need to do that. Thank you.
Really
So
appreciate that
I would
comment.
be supportive, just to let you know. I mean, it depends, and I know you're at a close to a 10% vacancy rate. So I don't know how Benji is with her section and if she's fully staffed. But I think that's an extremely important group.
Mhm.
And what they do keeps, everything going, right? Without
Mhm.
them, we don't pay our bills. Our consultants don't get paid, our pensioner, the whole thing, So if you need an overstrength position or whatever, but I think that's really important. And I would love to be kept appraised of how that works, because seriously, I'm not really that interested in traveling anymore because of my experiences.
Okay, very good comments, and we do appreciate that.
Okay. Any further questions from trustees?
Well, I have a comment.
Please.
I'm noticing in basis point terms that our personal expenses are higher.
Mm-hmm.
However, I'd also like to point out for the record that our returns are higher. And so I'm okay with that.
Okay.
No, fair point, and I think I just want to echo the words by Barbara. So the reason for looking higher, which they are, is twofold. Because we are an office, we're not like our peers. Our peers have one office and they serve one board. We serve two boards. So first, we split all the costs in personnel 50-50. I tend to believe that for purposes of a budget is a fair enough approach to take. We could take the painful approach of having staff for 6 months keep track of the time, so we can split it to the money. I mean, to the cents. But I think it's just going to be too much work for not much of a difference. Now, having said that, what I was going to get at is that because Federated has a smaller base on asset size, by splitting everything 50-50, it comes higher for Federated than it comes for police and fire. Now, we do split investment 40-60, but still, we do have a large personnel of investment staff, which is at our size, is not typical with other systems, so that also has an impact on the personal expenses. So those are the two main reasons why our basis points are higher.
Yeah, no, but I would say that looking at the overall performance of the plan,
yes,
it's worth it. And I think that trying to split things down to the last dollar would be far more expensive than just having a rule of thumb.
Yes.
Well, and also, you're including the investment staff. So we have to, it's apples to oranges.
Exactly. Exactly.
And so, and seriously, maybe the other thing is this is what the equation would be without the investment staff, so that you have a comparative.
All right.
Right?
It's
a
fair
thought.
point. We'll consider that for next year. That's great. Thank you. Maybe we do it one more time and.
Okay, any other questions from trustees? Any questions from the public? Okay, so I think we need to formulate a proposal to accept this budget as presented. Would any trustee care to opine?
Yes, I propose we accept this budget. as
Okay, we have a
presented.
motion from trustee, Vice Chair Jennings. Do we have a second?
I'll second it, trustee Linder.
Thank you. We have a second from trustee Linder. Any further trustee discussion? Any public comment? Hearing none, we will vote. Vice Chair Jennings?
Aye.
Trustee Kelleher?
Aye.
Trustee Linder?
Aye.
Trustee Vasti?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. The budget is accepted as proposed. Okay. We are on to item 5C. Discussion and resolution on cost of living adjustments for the 415B qualified participants and the grandfather rule. Who will be?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's me
Okay,
again.
thank you.
So this resolution is setting the COLA rate for qualified participants impacted by the 415B IRS. This is done annually. If a member joined the system prior to January 1st, 1990, they are considered a qualified participant under IRC 415B rules. Their retirement allowance cannot be lower than what they would have received under the system rules as of October 14th, 1987. So back in 87, the COLA rules were different in that than they are today. So COLA was set by the board annually and was based on the CPI December over December for the prior year. So in this case, 22-21, subject to a maximum of 3%. Since the 2022 December over December CPI rate was 4.9%, the COLA rate being declared in this resolution is 3%, with the remaining 1.9 to be placed into the retirees' COLA bank pursuant to the Muni Code Section 344040. Staff recommends approval of the resolution number 9107, setting the cost of living adjustment rate for 415 impacted beneficiaries who will have their limits set by grandfathered rules at 3% pursuant to the Municipal Code Section 344040.
Okay, thank you. Are there questions from trustees?
I have a question. Can you explain the remaining 1.9% placed in the COLA bank? What does that mean?
So back in 87, how the COLA was done is if there was a maximum of 3%. So in years where possibly it was above that, like here, at 4.9, 1.7 or 1.9 would have been put into this bank. And then in subsequent years when the CPI was less than 3%, say 2%, you could draw 1% out of your bank and use it to get up to that 3%. So that's what that banking was.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
And we don't do that now. It's a flat 3%, except for tier 2.
Great. Any further questions from trustees? Any questions from the public? So would someone care to formulate a proposal to accept this item?
So motioned by trustee Kelleher.
We have a motion from trustee Kelleher. Do we have a second?
I second.
We have a second from trustee Avasti. Any further trustee discussion? Any public comment? We will have a roll call vote. Vice Chair Jennings?
Aye.
Trustee Kelleher?
Aye.
Trustee Linder?
Aye.
Trustee Avasti?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. It passes. We will now move on to item 6A, oral update from Office of Retirement Services, and will that be Ms. Heyman or Mr. Payne?
Mr. Payne,
Mr.
thank
Payne.
you, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
So a couple of things. Being April, that means this month we will be paying to the Federated retirees their cost of living increase or adjustment for this year of 3%. The retiree impacted by 415 limits as well will see their adjustments this month in April to their benefits. I also wanted to give you some updates on personnel issues. We want to welcome Amy Dickinson. She started with us on Monday, April 1st, as our new senior benefit analyst. And just this week, Monday the 17th, we welcome a new benefit analyst, Sierra Kenoli Chavez. I think she's here this morning. Oh, and Amy is too. Thank you. Both, if you want to get up so that everyone knows who you are, please get up so we can welcome you. Stand
Identify
up. Thank
yourself
you.
individually, if you will.
Okay. Oh, I'm Sierra Kenoli Chavez.
Okay.
I'm a benefits analyst. Oh, should we go over there?
No, go ahead. Yes, that's where from there, yeah.
Okay. Hi.
Welcome to you both.
Great, thanks for joining the team.
So welcome. Thank you for joining the meeting. We are also working on interviews for the vacant staff specialist position that was left by Marty Saratem. You may remember she worked with you board on the meeting. She left that last October. And I also wanted to give you some sad news.
You cannot tell. Isela is so sad. Isela joined us about a month ago, and unfortunately, she's leaving us to pursue an opportunity outside the city of San Jose. She came almost crying to my office, and I said, "Don't worry, Isela. I understand. You got to do what you got to do." But it has been an excellent experience working with you, Isela. And I mentioned to her yesterday, if you change your mind, please let us know. But we want to wish Isela the best. So thank you, Isela, so much, and best of luck to you on your new job. Now, having said that, I also want to let you know then we actually have then asked Michelle San Miguel, who is sitting on the right-hand side here with Cheryl in between Isela and Michelle, to do the work for the executive assistant. She is occupying that position. Is that overstrength? I don't know. Did I say that right?
Higher class.
Higher class. Thank you. Sorry. I knew it was one of the two. I still get confused after 10 years. I'll get it right before
They
I
actually
retire.
like to call it interim now.
Oh,
Interim,
Yeah,
yes.
interim, yeah, that's. the-
Interim executive assistant. So we do want to welcome Michelle on that new position. And again, you can barely tell, but she is so excited, Michelle, on working with me day to day.
Oh, she volunteered, right?
Yes, she's smiling. The last two things I want to mention is that we, the Retirement Connection, our quarterly newsletter, was actually mailed out earlier this month. And just early this month, on April 4th, I went to the City Council to present the actual evaluation results for 2022. It was a very quick and short presentation because I think most of the information had already been discussed at the joint meeting on March 30th. But I do look forward to that presentation with the City Council every year. So, and that concludes my comments, Mr. Chair. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Would you like to update us on the status of trustee appointments?
Very good point. Yes, thank you. I'm gonna have to blame that one on Linda, who used to remind me of that, and she retired.
Yes, out there.
Linda is retired at the end of last month. This is her first month, and if you're listening, I hope you're enjoying your retirement. You should have sent me that email from your house, but in any case,
she shouldn't be listening if she's retired. I'll leave that alone.
So we do have a vacant, and we did receive 5 applications. We actually had a meeting with the city clerk last week. Her office is working on bringing the 5 applicants in front of the city council next month in anticipation of your meeting in May, so that they can actually reappoint or appoint a new member to the board. In addition to that, I wanted to mention that, and I apologize, right, Trustee Kelleher. Trustee Kelleher's tenure with your board will end next month. He will attend the May meeting. That will be his last meeting. And Trustee Kelleher actually sits the position that requires that your board actually interview applicants, and then you make a recommendation to the city council. So what we worked with the city clerk is that the 5 applicants will go in front of the city council. The city council will select one of the applicants, and then it will be offered to the other applicants. If they're still interested in joining the board, we will then your board will interview those applicants that are interested. Here you're meeting in May so that you can make a recommendation to the city council. So it's a long way of telling you that hopefully by your June meeting, we are going to have all the 7 positions fully staffed at the board. Thank you.
Great.
Mr. Chairman, can I add something? Actually,
Please.
So this has been a pet peeve of mine since I joined here, and Roberta and I have had several discussions on this, and I'm just bringing this up in a public forum because it does need to be addressed. Part of the challenge, I looked at the 5 applicants, extremely qualified, 2 PhDs in finance. They all have investment backgrounds, CFO, retired CFO, and so on. But the way the application form is structured, and the questions there are, you need a CFA to answer those questions, right? Or you have to be very investment savvy, right? And so I think the board will be better served by having trustees, not just with investment backgrounds, and I really appreciate that. It makes my job a lot easier, But I think we need doctors and lawyers and teachers and, librarians, and I think there should be diverse representation on the board. I think it'll make for more meaningful conversations, and quite honestly, sometimes you have to remove your investment hat to make a decision, right? And so I've brought this up before, and we've had, Roberta and I have had many discussions on this, and I don't know what the right forum is to address this, but I just wanted to bring this up again.
No, thank you, Prabhu. You're right. We've spoken about this many times, and as you know, Prabhu, background is in investments. I'm the one that suffers because everybody speaks investments, and I don't understand it. And so, but he's absolutely right. We agree on that, and I believe one of the applicants actually have an HR background. All the others are investments, but I think one of them have a different background. And I know I wanted to call her Stacy, but it's Sarah. Sarah still is here from OER. I raised this issue sometime back with OER and Sherry Parkman, who is our contact person, and she mentioned to me, and she's aware of it, that this is a bargaining issue, and so it needs to be addressed as to those kind of questions and everything. Well, when the city actually made the change in compositions on the boards, that was all bargaining thing. Like the changes from 7 to 9 and from 5 to 7, and what was the composition, and the 50 miles requirement to live within 50 miles, that was requested by the bargaining units. And so any kind of changes
Well,
to
it's a
all
little
that
relevant since we have to show up now.
Yeah, no, it is relevant. I think that to their point, I think the issue, if I'm misspeaking here, please correct me, Sarah, if I'm not saying this correctly. I think their view on the 50 mile was they wanted people that were actually engaged and will be impacted by decisions, right? That you don't want someone from New York coming here and be a trustee. I think that was their point.
Right.
So the point is well taken. I don't know about the 50 miles, but maybe a little more. But in any case, and so, and I have mentioned that to Prabhu. So when Cheryl comes back, I will bring this issue again, see how we can work through it, because I agree the way that everything is designed is sort of tilted towards having investment people apply, and we want more diversification for you board. So he's absolutely right. Thank you, Prabhu, for raising the issue.
Let me ask a question.
Please.
It's the questions that prospective trustees have to complete, right? And that's extremely investment related. And so the only way to change that is to get the unions to agree to change that?
I don't want to get to that point, but I think that there have to be an agreement of the minds on the kind of questions you're going to be asking. Now, the application is very clear that investment is just one of the subject matters that you can have background. It could be investment, it could be legal, it could be actuarial, it could be finance, it could be teaching, it could be
but the questions are very
but the question,
because I had a friend who was applying.
Again, I wasn't here when that was developed. That was a work done by the city, and I don't know who was involved in that process. I'm assuming clearly, as you know, asset allocation explained 90% of your returns. We are clear that investments are a critical part of the results of the plans. So it could very well be that they wanted to make sure that they really understood the investment background and people that were applying. But I think that speaks to Prabhu's point.
I'm going to cut you off.
Yeah.
I mean, my main question is, who gets to change the questions? And I don't know if OER has to answer that question, but, change the questions, you know what I mean?
I understand.
But maybe, we're a bureaucratic city and blah, blah, blah. So, that would be something that would be beneficial to come back with and let us know, and then we can address it, right?
So
yes, I will ask Sarah to look into it so she can get us know.
Roberto, who scores these responses?
They not really score as much as so there are two views of the applications. One is there's a requirement that people have to have a specific experience, either 10 or 12 years. So they ask our office to look at it and see that these are people that actually have the experience that is needed to perform. So we actually respond to the city clerk on that fashion. Then the other side of that is if there's any conflict. So that work is done by the city attorney's office. And they want to make sure of two things. They want to make sure that public members such as yourself do not have family that actually get benefits from the office, from the retirement office, right? Retirement benefits. And second, that you're not really working with a vendor that we do business with. And so once they go through that process, they decide whether there's any conflict by the applicants. In terms of actual score, there's not really a score of the application.
Because I was just thinking that you may not need to change the questions as much as just recognize that someone with an HR background would be an excellent addition to the board, even if they have very little investment knowledge, and you just sort of gloss over that.
No, absolutely. And HR is one of the educational backgrounds or working experience that could be used to be able to apply. And in fact, when I first joined the boards, we did have a person with HR background in the banking industry, and she was absolutely awesome, asking questions completely different than investment people. So I had a very good experience. So that I do agree with Prabhu. Diversification actually will be I think will be a positive for the boards. So I'll work with Sarah, and I don't know when Cheryl is coming back. Yeah, Monday. So then we'll look into that, and I'll update the board at the next meeting. Can you remind me of doing that, Michelle, please? I don't want to have to ask Linda in retirement. Thank you.
All right. Great.
Mr. Chair, this is Mark Linder. Trustee Linder, I have one other quick comment on this.
Please, go ahead.
The person that I urged to apply is the HR person. And the thing that was strange to me is that he was never notified that his application was even in. And I heard that last month. So I'm presuming they're telling him that his application, this process is going forward. But
well, I think you can.
I just think the clerk really needs to step it up.
I'm sure that's true. I think you can feel free to notify this person yourself.
I will now.
Since you have contact
Yes.
with him.
I knew they applied. I said, great, hang in there. And I will now notify them of the information I received. But thank you.
Okay. Yeah, personally, I strongly endorse Mr. Polani's view that I think both the questionnaire needs to be revised, even if we're looking purely at financial people, and we're not. And it really needs to be completely overhauled and frankly simplified. There are questions there that even no longer apply, referencing documents that are unavailable. So it's badly in need of overhaul, as is the process. So let's have a report back on that in the future about how we can affect that. Apparently, it's not within our purview as a board to make those adjustments ourselves. So, and do we have a date from City Council when they will have that interview?
So not exactly, but it's going to be either the 9th or the 16th, which are both Tuesdays, right? So either I think the goal is May 9th or May 16th.
So I was in rules yesterday, and there was a retirement board interviews scheduled for 2 weeks from Tuesday.
Oh, so even better, May 2nd.
So that would be May 2nd, I think.
Oh, even better.
Yes. I don't know if there's also police and
No, it's just Federated. You're
Okay.
correct. There is an opening in police and fire, but it's the same kind of situation as this board, where they have to be interviewed by the boards first, and the only applicant happen to be their own chair.
Okay,
so
got it.
They won't be going to city council yet.
Okay. Great. Any further questions for the CEO? Any questions from the public? Hearing none, we will move forward to the next item, which is an oral update from our City Council liaison, Ms. Davis.
Thank you. I just wanted to say thank you to all of you for coming to the joint meeting. We have a lot of new council members, as you all know, and it was good for them to have that introduction into what these boards do, and to have your presence there, chiming in on issues was very good, and I appreciate it, as I know they do. So on behalf of the rest of the council, I just wanted to say thank you. I don't think I have any updates. We have the March budget message was approved with some additional direction to the city manager's office to include some, as they always do, some specific addenda that will give us some cost estimates on additional items to whether, so that the entire council can decide whether to include them in the budget in June for the final vote. So we are in the kind of between time right now after the March budget message, when the city staff are working feverishly to get all those memoranda out and to finish the proposed budget. And we are waiting for our budget study sessions to begin, which will begin just in a couple of weeks.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions from trustees for our city council liaison? Any questions from the public? Okay, hearing none. Thank you so much. And we'll move on to item 6C, which is discussion and action on compensation adjustment to the current salary ranges for CEO and CIO, as well as investment officers. I'll present on this. The JPC has been working diligently on this topic. Earlier in the year, we contracted with consultants who did a survey of our peers for the CEO, CIO, and investment officer salaries. They presented us with the ranges that other peer plans are currently approved for. Now, these aren't the actual salaries paid to our CEO, CIO, and staff, but they are the approved ranges from which we can then approve actual salaries. And just to remind you, the JPC is looking at both increasing the salary ranges, which are the normal paid salaries. In addition, in parallel, they are looking at the possibility of a new investment bonus scheme that will also be compensation, but we're not discussing that here today. So after reviewing these salary ranges, and if we can bring it up, item
6C1.
6C1, thank you. What the JPC has, after discussion, we elected to increase all the salary ranges up to what is the 75th percentile of our comparators. So this shows, if you scroll up, it'll show you the monthly salary range. Here, I think we're looking at the CEO salary range, but in every case, to increase it to the salary range so that the top salary is equal to the 75th percentile of all similar peer plans, and peer plans are other California-based pension systems. So if there are any questions or discussions, now is the time to have them.
I just want to say one thing, just to clarify for those who maybe don't understand the city process again.
Which is many of us.
Yes, I know. The salary range is a range. That's all it is. And it does not mean that the person bumps up to that. It just increases the range. And so when people in the position get cost of living increases and management performance increases, it increases their salary. And as their salary goes up, eventually they hit the top of the range. And when they hit the top of the range, they no longer get, for most people who are in pensions, pensionable increases. They'll get one-time amounts, and that is one time, and that does not go to the pension. And then when the new year starts, it resets back to what it was before because they're at the top of the range. It does not incentivize those who want to make a career out of the city of San Jose to want to stay. And when you are the CEO or CIO, there really isn't much more that you can promote to other than to promote out of the city. So giving a 75% increase of the range is just allowing for that potential growth.
This is not a 75% increase of the range. It's an increase to the 75th percentile.
Yes,
So
thank you.
that's-
Thank you for the correction.
So currently, for instance,
Yeah.
looking at these numbers,
Yeah.
both our CEO and CIO have topped out of our current range, and I believe the current range top is 29, that's the median. So this would increase them from 29 to 31, which is a 15% increase.
Yes.
So
Thank you
just
for
wanted-
that
wanted to get
correction.
those numbers
Yeah.
corrected. Yeah.
And it just allows for that. That's what it allows.
Mm-hmm.
It's not increasing their salary.
Yeah. So let me, if you may, a couple of things that I want to share on this. So first of all, the last time that you boards went in front of the city council was about 5 years ago. Measure G, which was passed in 2014, did a couple of things. I think the overriding factor that it provided was it gave your boards the ability to hire and fire your CEO and CIO. Because before that, the CEO position was under the purview of the city manager. And it did accomplish a couple of other things. The other one that it accomplished was it requires that the salaries of the CEO, CIO, and investment officers can be reviewed by the boards, but they're required to go out and get comparative analysis in terms of compensation with similar plans across the nation, specifically, probably more likely in California, which is what you did. So you did that part. The second one I wanted to mention was, I think you explained this, but I want to make a quick difference here. So the median here is the 50 percentile. And the 75 percentile, again, is the 75 percentile of all the comparative analysis that were provided. Right now, the CIO and CEO tops are probably a little below the median. So it's not, that's not, the median is not the top salary, but it's a little lower than that. So as a committee, you had based on the data provided, you had different options to bring it to the 50 percentile of the median, bring it to the 75 percentile, to the 90 percentile, or 100%, right? You elected the 75 percentile, which I wholeheartedly support, and I recommend to you board to approve it. But I also wanted to share with you, because I mentioned this to the person, I got a call, received a call from the city last week to respectfully and politely remind me that the city philosophy on these issues is to bring, when they do comparative analysis, is to bring these salary ranges to the 50 percentile. So, you know, and we went back and forth, and I provided some background on the rationale for the boards. And, you know, at the end of the day, I explained to them, you know, I thanked them for the information. I certainly reminded him that we perfectly and obviously responsibly understand that we were within the city structure, but that there's also some responsibilities for the board trustees in terms of fiduciary duties to making sure that they incentivize the staff, and especially the staff under the Measure G, to make sure that they have competent staff to fulfill the responsibilities of the office. And that I couldn't speak for the committee of the board, but I felt that the 75 percentile was something that the board was going to approve. And then at the end of the day, the board will provide to the city council the information, and the city council will have to make a decision, right? They may either agree or disagree to that. But I just wanted to let you know that the city politely reminded me about the 50 percentile approach that the city take in their own work with the bargaining units. And, you know, I did mention, I was going to mention that publicly. I still think that you are taking the right approach of moving forward with the 75 percentile. And what Measure U requires you to do is to do the comparative analysis, make a recommendation to the city council, and provide the city council the data that you use to make that recommendation. Ultimately, we all agree that it's a decision by the city council to be made. So with that, I'm happy
Okay.
to answer any questions, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you for that context.
I would
Let
like
me,
to.
let me add a little bit more context. This is an activity we have undertaken once every 5 years. Our peer plans, our competitors in terms of either hiring or retaining staff, it's a moving target. So 5 years from now, they will not be at the 75th percentile. The 75th percentile will be probably closer to the 50th percentile. So we need to give ourselves, the JPC believes, the freedom, the flexibility to have salary ranges that will allow us to either retain or attract competent CEO, CIO, and investment staff. So we're giving ourselves a little bit of headroom to cope with the next 5 years. I'm sure that our senior executives have no intention of ever leaving us, but we want to have it in the back pocket so that we can continue to incentivize them. I believe the CEO and CIO are already maxed out within their current existing salary ranges. Not quite sure what the situation is for the rest of the investment staff.
Chair Horowitz?
Yes.
Is the 75% a moving target, or are we setting this for 5 years at $31,374?
No, we are setting it for 5 years at $31,374. So this
Okay.
is a moment in time. It's the 75th percentile today. It will not be the 75th percentile
5 years
next
now.
year. Certainly not in 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of conversation at the JPC. So this is and over a number of months. So it was not just one meeting. There's, we go back and forth wanting to give ourselves enough room. And then acknowledging that we work for the city of San Jose, and the philosophy is to do what's always been done and not change that. So 50% is the philosophy that the city has been following. But sometimes we need to open the windows and the curtains and say we're in a different reality.
Yeah.
And I think this is the time, and I think with the JPC, with a lot of investment staff, as well as me, who understands the city of sorts, we came to the 75%. So I stand behind that.
Yeah, I certainly support it. I consider Roberto, Prabhu, staff all ready to be economic donors to the city. And we greatly appreciate your contributions, both from an investment professional standpoint as well as monetarily. So I think we want to give as much room as we can, and it doesn't really matter that city tradition is 50%. It is what it is.
And reminding all trustees, these numbers are applied to the position. This is not specifically
To
tied
the-
to individuals who may or may not occupy those positions today. And fully acknowledge that ultimately this will be decided by city council. But in my experience in business, one shouldn't negotiate with oneself. So this is meant to be our ask, if you will. And we will see what the city council's response is to that ask. So, is there any further trustee comment or questions? Any public comment or questions? Can we take these items together, or should we vote on them separately?
I think better separate.
Separately. So, first we have the CEO salary survey and the request to increase the range up to the current 75th percentile of comparators, which is a number which is $31,374 per month, which represents a little bit more than $2,000 per month increase in the top number. Do we have a motion to accept that proposal from JPC?
I'll motion to accept the proposal.
Thank you. We have a motion from trustee Kelleher. Do we have a second?
I second.
We have a second from trustee Avasti. Any further trustee discussion? Any public comment on the proposal?
Mr.
Council
Chairman,
Liederman?
If the motion only addresses the range, when and how will we address the actual salary placement within that range?
Well, that is part of the annual salary review, which takes place in the August through September timeframe.
Okay.
That's the MPP, as well as the cost of living. So the cost of living is being negotiated now between the unions and the city. And then, if all ends well, it'll be concluded by the end of June. And then the MPP is done by us, right? So we do it, and that will probably, really, that happens in what, October, November? Maybe
Actually,
January.
that actually happens in August.
Well, it happens.
Well,
but
I mean,
when it's finalized.
It kicks off in August.
The discussion in closed session happened in August, and then the discussion in open session about the decision is September.
Yeah.
So that is in time for the October salary increases on MPPs by the city. But again, to council's question, again, this is just a request on the salary range. Right. Once that range is approved, then the board have flexibility to move around that range. I also want to mention that when you see these numbers over here, those are the tops. So like the 75 percentile, that number is the top.
Right.
Of the
It doesn't mean they get the salary.
It does,
All
yeah.
it means
It means that when you get to the top, that will be the top, but.
you can get to that range, it's not one time, and for those who pay into the pension, it's pensionable. If you hit the max of your range, you go over that, that amount is non-pensionable. That's what it means. And trust me, I know, because I'm at the top of my range. This year, I've hit it. So everything I get beyond is now non-pensionable.
Okay. I believe as a trustee, I'm at the top of my range. And
that's not pensionable.
and it's definitely not pensionable. So we have a motion on the table. Any further discussion? So it's a motion to accept the proposed salary range increase from the JPC. And if there's no further discussion or public comments, we will have a roll call vote. Vice Chair Jennings?
Aye.
Trustee Kelleher?
Aye.
Trustee Linder?
Aye.
Trustee Avasti?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye as well. We'll now move forward to 6C2, which is the CIO and investment officer range. If we want to bring up that item on the screen. And so here again, the 75th percentile, this is looking specifically at the CIO, would move from 27,425 to 34,025, approximately a 15% increase in the top possible range. And all the same discussion really applies here into the investment officers as well. So would anyone like to formulate a proposal to accept the JPC increase request?
Based on the same logic, I so motion.
Okay, based on the same logic only, we have a motion from Trustee Kelleher. Do we have a second?
I second.
We have a second from Trustee Avasti. Any further trustee discussion? Any further public discussion? So hearing none, we will have a vote. Vice Chair Jennings?
Aye.
Trustee Kelleher?
Aye.
Trustee Linder?
Aye.
Trustee Avasti?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye, so this also passes. Thank you. On to item 6D. Author.
Just a quick question.
Yes.
Was this just for the chief investment officer, or are there other investment officers?
That included the other investment officers, but the numbers presented were the CIOs, which I believe is the highest paid investment officer in the city. And so it all move up in a similar fashion to the current 75th percentile of surveyed peers as the maximum range, but not necessarily the maximum salaries for our current IOs. So, okay. 6D, discussion and action on authorize the CEO to negotiate a new agreement with Messias Ginny, O'Connell LLP, MGO.
Did we approve for the investment officers?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I think it
I'm
was
so sorry.
Yeah, that was all part of the,
He was paying attention.
Huh?
I was.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said.
Okay, I
Okay.
heard the CIO
We-
and I didn't
After
hear.
We got-
CEO, Roberto just fell asleep after CEO.
Yeah, really?
no, we,
Well, that's why it's good it's a rain.
Trustee Avasti asked that question.
Thank you.
yes,
Thank you, President.
yes, we don't want our IOs leaving this meeting thinking that we did not include them.
Apologies, okay, thank you.
So yes, 6D, who will be presenting on that particular item?
Thank you.
That would be
Benji,
me, yes.
thank you.
So normally this would go to the audit committee first, but due to the timing, it's going straight to the board because we need to have our meeting at the audit committee next month. The current audit contract, as Barbara stated earlier, with Grant Thornton expires at the end of this month. So we issued an RFP and it closed on March 17th. 3 proposals were received, one from MGO, one from UHY, and one from ID Bailey. 3 ORS staff members, the senior internal auditor, Jay, senior investment officer, and myself independently reviewed the proposals, and we evaluated them using this point system on the screen. We were all unanimous in our first choice, which is MGO. MGO used to be our financial auditor for 15 years prior to Grant Thornton. And they are currently the financial auditor for this city, but their contract's going to expire next year, which the city will probably issue an RFP. The fees are a little bit higher compared to the other 2, but I think, because MGO is a local firm, the CPI and the cost of living in the Bay Area is a lot higher. UHI and ED Bailey are out of state, so that's a little bit lower. We don't see any independence issues, which used to be an issue that the board had with having the city auditor and the retirement boards using the same auditor, because they'll have different partners and different staffing. And like I said, MGO is the most expensive. It amounted to about $10,000 more per plan, but that is because of the cost of living. And it's also a trade-off for their experience and their capabilities. We've used them in the past. We had great results with them, and we'd never had any problems with them. So with that, are there any questions?
I assume you're gonna save on travel? I mean, don't you have to pay for auditors' travel here?
I don't think we've ever had to. It's whatever's in the contract. They've always charged us, whatever.
Just
the
a
maximum.
rate?
Yep.
And that includes whatever?
Yep.
Interesting, okay.
And is there a particular reason Grant Thornton, did they not rebid on the contract, or were you not interested in them, or?
No, we were very much interested in them, but they did not rebid. Their bidding would have been double the amount, so they just, it wasn't economically, didn't make economic sense to them.
Okay. Any other trustee questions? Any public comment?
Question, Mr. Chair.
Please.
Benji, is there an understanding that we will have a different audit partner
Yes.
than the city has?
Yes, we do have a
Okay.
different audit partner.
And that will be in the contract?
Yes.
Thank you.
Which you
Thank
will
you, Mr. Chair.
review and approve. So.
Okay. Any other questions from the public or trustees? Would anyone like to formulate a motion to accept and go with the staff recommendation for MGO?
Sure, trustee Kelleher, so motions.
Okay, we have a motion from trustee Kelleher. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second from Vice Chair Jennings. Any trustee discussion of the motion? Any public comment? We'll have a roll call vote. Vice Chair Jennings?
Aye.
Trustee Kelleher?
Aye.
Trustee Linder?
Aye.
Trustee Avasti?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. It passes unanimously. On to item 6E, discussion and action regarding Resolution 9109 for Tier 1 and 9110 for Tier 2 contribution rates.
So that's me again.
Okay.
So this is just a formality to establish new contribution rates and amounts for the new fiscal year. And this is based on the actuarial valuations as of June 30th, 22. These new contributions rates are effective starting pay period of fiscal year 23, which is June 25th. And I know you can't see it on up there, but the rates all decreased slightly, ranging from 0.07% to 0.14%.
Thank you. Any further, any trustee questions on this item? Any public comments?
Just a suggestion, I think it's useful if you show a comparison from the previous rates in the memos.
Sure, I have that. Do you want to see it?
Let's.
Go ahead and show it, Benji, please. And I think Benji mentioned this already, but these are the same rates that they actually presented to you in the presentation and you approved. We just have to put in a resolution so we can send it to
Oh, got it.
accounting, so the accounting and finance can do what they have to do in the city, so that they all charge the same contribution rate at the beginning of the fiscal year. Are you still looking for it, Benji, or?
I'm sharing my screen right now.
Oh.
See, it's right here on the top section, the Federated. So 22, 23, 23, 24. You can just ignore police and fire below, unless you're interested.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other trustee questions? Would someone care to formulate a motion to accept the staff recommendation? Anyone?
Trustee Kelleher, so motions.
We have a motion from trustee Kelleher. Do we have a second?
I'll second, trustee Linder.
Okay, we'll give this one to trustee Linder. Any trustee discussion on the motion? Any public discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we will vote. Vice Chair Jennings?
Aye.
Trustee Kelleher?
Aye.
Trustee Linder?
Aye.
Trustee Avasti?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, passes unanimously. On to agenda item 7. This is,
Mr. Chair?
yes?
There was an item on consent that was
Ah.
pulled to be discussed on the new business. I think, is Maytag at the meeting remotely?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay, Maytag,
Thank
can
you
I
for that
turn it over to you?
reminder.
Sure.
Thank you.
So I'm going to share my screen if that's okay.
Yes, please.
Oh, can someone please grant me screen sharing capabilities? All right, here we go. So previously item 2.8A is now item 6F, which is the discussion and action on the adoption of the updated disability committee charter. We had attached to the agenda the red line, but I guess the red lines did not come through when the posting of the agenda. So I have the red line edits here that highlights the changes to the committee charter. The main difference on the committee charter change is that we added the alternate to conform with the board's appointment and operation of the disability committee. As you know, trustee Avasti has been appointed as the alternate member who will sub in for one of the sitting members if one of the sitting members is absent from the meeting. And so you'll see here we've added in red line the reference to the alternate member. Also here in subdivision E, the president regarding quorum, we have presence of 2 members of the disability committee shall be considered constitute quorum, and the alternate members may substitute in for one of the sitting members of the committee if the sitting member is absent. Where the alternate member substitute in for an absent sitting member of the committee, the alternate member shall have the same authority as a absent sitting member. And those are the only changes to the disability committee charter. So I'm presenting this to the board for adoption.
Great, thank you. So this just gives us greater flexibility for the disability committee to meet, given the presence of either a full member or an alternate member.
Correct.
So are there any trustee questions on this issue? Would someone like to formulate a motion to accept this change?
I motion to accept.
So we have a motion from Vice Chair Jennings. Do we have a second?
Trustee Kelleher will second.
Thank you. Trustee Keller seconds. Do we have any trustee questions or discussions on the motion? Any public comment on the motion? Hearing none, we will have a vote. Vice Chair Jennings?
Aye.
Trustee Kelleher?
Aye.
Trustee Linder?
Aye.
Trustee Avasti?
Aye.
And chair votes aye as well. The motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maytag. We're on to agenda item 7.1, Investment Committee. The IC chair is not present today. but I believe, so there's no oral update. We've had some discussion on the strategic asset allocation, but that will continue at the next scheduled IC meeting, which is next week, and that will come before the board for consideration at the May meeting. So aside from that, do we need a motion to approve the minutes of the various past meetings? Or can we?
I think we just receive and file.
We just receive and
Sure.
file?
Receive
Okay,
and file.
summarily received and file. On to item 7.2, the Governance Committee. It looks like the last meeting was a special, and,
No changes.
okay, so nothing to report. And then there's the Audit Committee.
So we need to receive and file the minutes still, right?
Okay. Receive
Oh,
and
yeah, just file.
for the Governance Committee?
Yeah.
Okay. So we don't need to vote for that. We just receive and
Yeah,
file.
receive and file.
Okay. Oral update from the Audit Committee.
Okay, so we have no oral updates. Our last meeting was February 16th. Our next meeting is in May. So we have a number of reports that we need to receive and file. So we'd like to receive and file.
Okay, then they are received and filed. Very good, thank you. 7.4, the Disability Committee.
Their meeting, they cannot wait to meet right after your meeting. They have a last training of their committee so that they can start hopefully in June or after the summer to start working as a committee on new disabilities. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I appreciate their ability to restrain their excitement, and we look forward to their work in the near future. 7.5, Joint Personnel Committee. Well, we had some fair discussion on our major piece of work, which was the discussion of salary ranges. Work continues on two parallel tracks, which is the discussion of a possible incentive bonus plan and a proposal that would also have to ultimately be approved by City Council, and a separate track reviewing our executive staff analysis procedures that were updated last year, and this is our August through October review process that everybody comments on. And so we're reviewing that to see if we need to make any changes, hopefully in time for the next review process. But we have nothing yet to report out on that. So I guess we need to receive and file the minutes from the last two JPCs, and we will meet again in May. So we've been meeting monthly. So on to education and training. We have the Cortex report for review. Calipers program calendar. Do we know the subject of the virtual trustee roundtable on May 5th? I don't think I saw that.
I don't know that we know it yet. As soon as we have, I'm looking at the staff. We usually get the agenda, but I haven't seen any agenda for that meeting yet. No. Are you serious or are you joking?
Okay.
All right.
Well, that timing of that is interesting. And then there's the SACR's annual spring conference. I believe they do have an agenda out for that, if anyone's interested in going down to San Diego. Any trustee or public comments on any of the educational or training opportunities? Okay. Any proposed agenda items for our next meeting, which sounds like it'll be quite a full meeting, including asset allocation as well as the potential interview of new trustees. Any other proposed agenda items from trustees or the public? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Thank you all.